Welcome to another episode of The Stream Room. It's a podcast about content creation by content creators for content creators. And this week is SUBtember, a big old scam. There's been a lot of backlash. We will dive into that. But I am one of your hosts, Reeps.
Hello, I'm LJ.
And I'm Nicktacular.
Nick,
A little bit of
what's going on there, mate? What's happening?
I sound perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about, Reed.
You
a little bit of a juxtaposition between hello, I'm LJ. Hi.
Help. What's
I
happening,
sound
mate?
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sicky, but I feel good. So, I'm just going to be taking it a little bit easy today. So you're going to hear
Yes.
less of me, which is probably a positive.
No, it's not. You sip on that tea, my friend, and get better. There's nothing worse in a streamer's, I would say, career than having no real voice and not feeling up to the task of being in front of a camera. So thank you for actually...
Worse than swatting,
Okay.
to be honest.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you got me there. The swatting is never good.
But no, just think of me, like when you drive past a construction site and you see two guys doing work and one of the dudes just doing nothing, just standing there supervising. That's me just standing there supervising.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Thermos in hand. Yeah.
I'm going to say it though. If you want Nick to get better, you got to like and subscribe. One like equals one prayer.
Yep. Papa bless. Papa bless.
I won't get better unless you like and subscribe.
That's right. And we are getting closer to our goal. Again, if you want to see us get to 1,000... Oh, no. What's going on here?
My
LJ?
window was open and I was like, why is the garbage truck outside so bloody loud today? My window's just straight up open. Just
I was going to say, I don't want to go on about weather, but spring has sprung in Sydney. It is nice weather finally. It feels good. I'm not sure what it's like in Adelaide or Queensland, I should say. But is it good? Does it feel like we're past the winter?
It's still a bit chilly. Still a little bit chilly. It gets a little bit chilly in the afternoons. But the thing is that we're getting a lot of sporadic rain. And so in Australia, we have extreme weather. We all know we have extreme weather, right? Compared to everywhere else. You guys can go screw yourselves. Our country's hard mode difficulty. We're the best. And one of the things is that we're going into spring with full dams for one of the first times in a decade or like that. And so we're going to have our spring, summer storms kick off. Our dams are already at 85, 90% capacity.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. All winter, we've had these kind of slow, sporadic rains. And so normally it's fine because the groundwater isn't full. But we've had all this little bit of rain. So all our groundwater in Queensland is full. Our dams are full. Our rivers are full. And we're about to have all these spring, summer storms. And everyone's kind of sat back uh-oh.
Where's it going to go? What's happening? Yeah, it's kind of the same. We've had a lot of rain on the East Coast. So yeah, Queensland, New South Wales, ton of rain. So yeah, our dams are pretty much the same. And I'm sure that we will have that sporadic rain, but that's okay. I'll dance in it or whatever. Run in slow motion towards the love of my life. Something like that. I make the most of the rain.
I'm not in Sydney. You can't run towards me.
I run towards the border. You can see me from afar, I'm
He's
sure.
just LJ. I thought I was going to say LJ. I think that's called deja vu.
Yeah, legitimately. Dude, okay, here's the thing, right? I think it's so... it sucks that we flood every year around this time, right? But I think it's so ironic that every year the same thing happens. Everyone goes, this rain is completely unexpected. And it's no, last year the exact same thing happened at the exact same 4 times of the year the season changes. And the same photo of a photoshopped shark on train rails that are flooded gets posted everywhere. And everyone's like, wow, it's so flooded. The sharks are swimming in the CBD. And it's no, mate, it's not. The same photo's been posted in Sydney's subreddit, in the Brisbane one, in the Melbourne one. It's fake, right? And everyone's losing their mind. It happens every year.
Yeah, it is that sense, as Nick was saying, of just deja vu. Every year you forget, this may seem like a really stupid thing, but I sometimes forget how I dressed in summer. I'm pretty sure I wear shorts and a t-shirt. And then you go into winter and you forget about exactly what you wore this time last year. I'm like, did I wear tracksuit pants? Did I go with jeans usually? I don't know why, but I always figure it out. Yeah. Was I naked at the time? It's stupid.
Hey, before we move on for anything, by the way, I will say properly, throw some comments if you're listening to this, because we've got a huge amount of questions to go through, but I'm loving reading everyone's comments lately. People are not necessarily just asking questions, they're just commenting general things. And I thought it was really funny. They said, it's becoming a staple now that Nick or Reeps will say, I really liked this game. And then LJ will be like, hot take, it's shit. But here's the thing, right? Okay, this happened because of Call to the Lamb. And I replied being like, wait, no, because I listened back to it. And I had to keep saying all the entire episode, I was like, I loved Cult of the Lamb. I just burnt out of it, and this is how I wish it could be better. You know what I mean? And the thing is, when I said the things that I didn't like about it, both of you were like, yeah, I agree. It was a good game, but those things would be better. And so I'm like, it's justified, damn it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Cult of the Lamb is an amazing game, an amazing experience overall, but we cannot say that it is 10 out of 10 perfect. And once that like new car smell wears off on the new game, like, you know, kind of aura wears off, you're just like, oh, these things could be a little bit better if I wanted replay value from it. So I understand. Yeah.
But that has given me a thought.
Okay.
I have found that some of the biggest memes for the Trash Taste podcast are the times where they get into really long-winded debates about things that don't matter.
Okay.
So I'm going to slowly start bringing in divisive topics to make us argue.
Well, I tells you what, the other day, Micro Mads, a blessed friend of the actual podcast and obviously guest of the podcast, comes in. I think I was in her stream watching Sea of Thieves, and she said to me, yo, Reeps, here's a question for you. What would win in a fight, like a land fight, a hippo or a rhino? And I was like, oh, well, a hippo would win. And she's like, no shot in the world. Get out of here. And that obviously is a great thing, I think, for a lot of streamers should be doing in terms of you can engage a lot of people simply by a divisive question or a comment to make more people jump in. So little tip there. Mads did it well.
I think it's really interesting though. One thing that people do is they get given that advice and then they mess it up, right? They ask the question, and this is something I've done a little bit recently because like I get distracted because I'm doing more of a gamer phase. This is my thing. This is the LJ gamer phase.
Okay.
And I'll get into that a little bit later about why I streamed for 12 hours the other day trying to be a gamer.
Hell yeah.
But essentially, I find a lot of people do that, right? They do the whole, here's a divisive question. What's the best thing? They get all the answers, but they don't continue the conversation. They move on. Right. So then chat's just like, why did I bother answering that question about whether or not milkshake is good? Because like now he's not even talking about milkshake. Now he's just talking about game. And it's like one of those things where it's like, I find a lot of people ask open-ended questions and then they get the chat activity and they go, nice. And they keep moving. And it's like, no, now it's a conversation. Now you got to keep asking them
now
things.
It's like
I mess it up. I mess it up constantly. Right. But it's just like, it also, you'll find you tend to have some really repeating ones. I feel like every streamer probably once a week or once a month has to do the pineapple on pizza, good or bad. And then try to
Definitely me.
Yeah,
when I like don't know what to talk about, I'm like, just pizza, some sort of food question. Is always
it's food, right?
Yeah,
food.
definitely.
People love talking about food and they go, oh, why do we always talk about food on this stream? And I'm like, you guys love it. You love it.
You eat it up.
You do. Oh, nice. See, still the brain's there, even though the voice isn't. Yeah,
the brain's there, but the voice isn't.
The voice isn't.
Dude, speaking of Cult of the Lamb, though, a little bit onto the topic of content creation and stuff like that before we get into SUBtember and talk about Ninja also being a scam. I uploaded my Cult of the Lamb video, which is like the very first stream I did. I edited it into a video, and I called it something like, I made a cult that sacrifices Twitch chat. And it took me like 5 hours to make a thumbnail. Right? I made like 20 different thumbnails for it because I realized that every single person playing Cult of the Lamb was just uploading these like Let's Plays. There was no interesting concept behind it. And that's true, right? I didn't have an interesting concept. I just streamed it with the integration, right? And so it's really hard to find inspiration for a thumbnail. And so I spent like ages working on a thumbnail. And finally I just went with like I gone into the game and I made a follower, a little green frog, right? So like a Twitch frog. And I got a screenshot of him like nicely and stuff. And so I just made like big scary lamb doing his scary stuff, and then the tentacle for a sacrifice I'd taken from a high-res recording I did, and then I photoshopped out the actual cultist we were using and put the little green frog in with a smiley face on him.
Okay.
And I just called it like Twitch above his head, so it was kind of like, oh, this is the Twitch guy being sacrificed, this is the cult leader, blah, blah, blah. And I've gotten to the stage now after I've done a bunch of promoting of the LJ channel to stream scheme and stuff like that, which got me a big chunk, like 500, 600 hours of watch time and heaps of views.
Dude.
And now I'm not going to promote at all, right? Okay. So all my videos are going to go from getting like 800 to 1,000 down to like 200.
Right.
But that 200 will be the people who actually care about the content. And that means they'll watch longer and likely it'll go to the algo, right? So that's my new, like, now it's going to all drop down, but it'll hopefully actually start snowballing properly.
Right.
To upload Cult of the Lamb does really badly, like an 8 out of 10 in terms of views. And I'm sitting there like, I could share this and get like 300, 400 views in the next hour. I could share this, but stick to the plan, LJ, stick to the plan. Didn't share it at all. And then like 12 hours after release, gets an extra 130 views.
Wow.
Just like goes hard, all to the algorithm, gets me like 9,000 new impressions. My CTR goes from like an 8% down to like a 2% because he went to so many people. but like they're all new people, got like a bunch of new subs for it. I'm like, the plan. I just need to commit to the plan. It's just make a semi-clickable concept thumbnail and just put it out there, and the algo will respond now.
Nice, dude.
Dude, I'm super excited about it. It's just like when you like are manually trying to kickstart by like sharing it to the social jacking trends and stuff like that, it's way easier if you're doing a specific topic, right? As we all know. But because I'm doing variety on the second channel so that I don't end up blowing my brains out as a content creator, I'm like releasing all this stuff, like trying to kickstart, and like releasing this one. I was like, okay, if this doesn't do anything without any promotion, then I need to figure out a new system. But like seeing the algo go, oh yeah, I know what this video is. We can show this to these people and they'll probably like it. And it actually like getting that, like the wheel starts turning.
Nice.
I'm like, yes, there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah,
we might be able to do this.
When I shared that screenshot the other day, had the same thing happen with one of my videos, like the 6th Yu-Gi-Oh video since like niching down, and like everything was getting like less than 100 views. And then I wake up, like I think it was like 3 days after I'd posted the latest video, I wake up and it hit 800 views overnight. And I was like,
yeah.
We love you, YouTube and Twitch. We love both of you.
It's 110% like the power of niching, right?
Yeah.
It works so well. Because I think, Nick, for you, like you've always done full variety on that YouTube channel, right? And like this is a brand new thing to like just niche and focus on one thing. But like it clearly already is showing dividends because it works if YouTube knows who the videos are for, right? And like you just keep uploading that and those 600 people always want it, right? I'm doing it the dumb way though. Like I'm doing it the very dumb way by still going full variety. But that, again, I've said is because I can't do another niche.
Yeah. No,
I've got one, right? I've got one niche. I've got that going. I don't need to worry about it. But yeah, no, it's cool. It's really cool to see the algo actually start to understand and pay attention and share, you know?
that's really
Very
cool. I mean, the
exciting.
thing is like, even though you're doing full variety, it's like you have all of your tactics like refined, so you know how to give your videos the best chance of success. And even though I'm like niching, like I look through, you know, other videos of like stuff that I'm going to be posting, and I look at their thumbnails and titles, and I'm like, I can make something that stands out a lot better than this.
Yeah.
A better standing out thumbnail, like a better, you know, like this and that, and it seems to work for the most part.
I think that's a really good point as well, because I know that when people get into like a kind of a rhythm of doing something, they forget to look at other people out there in terms of the same realm. And that's when you really, I feel like, fall off a bit, like including streaming as well. Like if you don't know what the trends are or what kind of people are reacting to at the moment, then you can easily fall off the bandwagon because that's no longer the meta of what you're doing. So I would say to anybody out there, be sure to keep looking at, even though you're successful or you think you're successful or whatever it is, be sure to know what's the next step, because you're not just going to be treading water the whole time. You've got to actually kind of go out a bit outside of your comfort zone to get what you want.
I think that's one of my the big things that I've loved about doing this podcast for me is like I love thumbnails. I adore making thumbnails. And I've been very tired on Stream Scheme because Stream Scheme's always been momentum thumbnails. So same concept, same branding, same thing, and it was very safe to get the channel set up that way. It's a lot safer to do it that way for me because I didn't want to be one of those guys who makes a bunch of thumbnails that has like Pokemon in the thumbnail and it's like why giant streamers are quitting, right? I didn't want to make that as like Stream Scheme because I don't feel confident enough in like what I've produced and what I've grown. But now I'm a bit bigger. This podcast gave me kind of like this safe space to like test things out and see how people would respond to it. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then so I've been seeding them in a little bit. So the Ninja Masterclass video, I did a brand new style on that, worked really well, you know? And then this latest video on Stream Scheme, which is my second best performing of all time, I actually made the thumbnail for it, which is like a classic one where it's the tweet by Twitch. And I've just gone into inspect elements and changed it to say, you can stream on YouTube now. And then you're welcome under it. And I made all that. And I was so nervous to release it, thinking like, oh, it might not work and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then so instead, I edited that thumbnail and used it on this podcast channel last week. Went really well. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Pushed it out on SSN. And now it's, second best performing.
Dude.
And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, cool. I can do a little bit of clickbait, right? Like it doesn't matter. I can follow the trends. Like, and I thought about this. I was thinking to myself, like, why is it like Ludwig and like Devin Nash and all these guys can just make their titles and thumbnails like anything they want, and people are like, ha ha ha, it's clickbait. And I was like, surely I'm not going to go that hard. Like I'm not going to push to do like hardcore clickbait.
Yeah.
But I really need to stop caring as much Because the people who comment who are upset about it, it's like on this latest video, I had two people being like, well, that's a bit of a misleading title and thumbnail. And there was only two of those people out of like 38,000 views.
Yeah.
So like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like none of it matters.
I think it's part of the thing. It's like you can't really go to any place in the world without advertising around you, right? And I feel it's the same when it comes to YouTube videos, where it's like people know that you need to have a grabby title, otherwise people won't click on your stuff. It's more the fact that once you get into the video, as long as the quality's there, then that's fine. You know what I mean? But if it is just that thing of like, you won't believe what, Pokemon says, and then you go into the video and it's like them just recapping the tweets that she did, which is like the lowest common denominator kind of content, because it's just screenshotting and then just showing, and you can believe what she says. That's when I get angry. But when it's like there's an actual point and like a directive behind it that you're like, no, this is quality content, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That's
And
just
I should
YouTube.
clarify. Yeah. The clickbait I'm saying that I want to do isn't like lies. That's the rule I have. Is it can't be a lie. So the title of this last one I released on SSN was, it was something along the lines of, I guess I remember it because I don't have it up right now. It was Twitch changed their exclusivity policy. No, it was rules because I wanted to SEO it, comma, you can grow now. And the concept was because the first half of the video was talking about the rule changes and the second half of the video was talking about how you can use them to grow. And so like people saying that's a misleading title, I feel like just didn't watch the whole video.
Yeah.
And that's like, I'm fine with that, right? Like, because I honestly do believe the changes brings to light a new strategy for people who don't know about that they can actually use to grow really well, which is the TikTok concept.
Yeah.
But speaking of the TikTok concept, we've had multiple people in the comments after last week's episode say that they're going to join in on the 30 days worth of TikTok daily uploads that we're all supposed to start in 2 days.
Sheesh. Yes, I'm going to do it. Don't worry. It's just because it's 2 days away. I will probably edit some today is what I'll do and get a week's worth out. Yeah, no, that sounds great. Honestly, if you do want to get on board with us and don't know what we're talking about, from September 15th, wherever you are in the world, whatever day that is, for 30 days straight, you have to have at least one piece of content on your TikTok for 30 days and see what happens at the end. Or if even it's just like to learn how to edit, or if it's just to like put stuff out there, that's the whole point of it. So let us know how your journey goes as well. We'd love that. Yeah.
So I started prepping for this on the 1st of September. And by prepping, I mean, I kind of thought a bit, found some clips and stuff like that. And then I went on my TikTok and I tried to log in on my phone. Turns out they've locked my account. So I've spent the last 13 days, rather than prepping and making TikToks, with TikTok support trying to get in. They were absolutely useless, but I finally managed to get into it yesterday.
Okay.
And the only reason I got into it was because I managed to like get the support guys to make my email a new email address connected to it, so I could like kind of like unlock it without their help. Like it took ages, but either way, I finally got in without their help, and I'm like, cool, now I can start actually prepping and doing stuff. And I was like, shit, it's 2 days away. So I've prepped nothing.
Neither.
And Lonely Shark was in my chat yesterday and he goes, have you done any kind, I hope you got like a backlog so you can prep the 30 days early. And I was like, nope.
I think I'm going to go on, like in my head, the only thing that I prepped is that I've got all these compilation clips that I put on my YouTube so I can easily take from them. But I also want to do one piece of like original content per week in terms of actually film something just for TikTok, whether it's a skit, whether it's advice, whether it's an opinion, something like that. I just feel like that would be good, because when I go on people's TikToks, like Twitch streamers who have made it big on TikTok, most of it, as you said, is not from their streams. Most of it is just kind of like complete asides or made specifically for TikTok. And I feel like I have to not ignore that and actually be like, yeah, I'm not the exception, I am the rule. And I need to figure that out.
I was talking to Buzzer and he said that if anyone doesn't know Jack Buzzer's the largest Minecraft TikToker in Australia. And he was saying that he thinks that Twitch clips are the hardest possible way to grow on TikTok. It's the easiest way to start, but it's the hardest way to actually grow. Like you need to plan out if you're going to do that, you have to plan out what the clips are, which is something that Eona and I have talked about a lot. And that is like coming up with an idea of like, oh, you're playing Pokemon Arceus? Well, if you find an unknown, don't just catch it. Walk to like a landmark and say, are you trying to find this unknown in this area? Well, then follow me. And you go and you find it, you take a thing and you clip that whole thing and you upload that, right? And that does so much better than just being like, wow, an unknown, and catching it.
Yeah.
You know? People will be like, oh, that seems ungenuine. It's like, no, dude, that's just what you have to do to grow, right?
Yes.
And so like I was talking to him and he said that like all of his stuff is like he'll find a comment or an idea or he'll think of something and then he'll plan out a little thing around it, like a sketch around it, and go from there. And that has always performed better for him, which I thought was really, really good advice, to be
Great
honest.
advice, yeah.
A lot of what I'm going to do, I'm going to try plan out. So I've planned out a few things. So yesterday I started a shiny Nuzlocke on stream, which is like a fire red Nuzlocke, right? Where I can do shiny only. But I didn't tell chat this. I've modded the game so that the odds of finding a shiny are reversed with normal mods. So every single Pokemon is normal. Every single Pokemon is shiny. And then a normal mon will only appear 1 in 8,092 chance. So everyone's like losing their mind, like, you're gonna be here for 12 hours trying to get your fucking starter. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And I'm like, let's do it. Channel points. Who thinks the first 10 starters on our reset is gonna be a shiny? Like 80% non-believers. And I say, guys, trust me. Believe in me if you want to make bank. No one does. Boom, shiny Squirtle instantly. I'm like laughing my ass off, going, I am in disbelief. How did this happen?
Hashtag scammed.
Yeah,
legitimately, yeah. But then we keep
awesome.
playing, right? And then I'm in the cave, and I had this idea for one that already, and it came up perfectly because a Geodude appears, and Geodude, when he's shiny, is like kind of sickly and yellow. He's like jaundiced. So one of the guys says in chat that Geodude looks sick, thinking, I don't know if he was saying it looks sick or if it looks like cool.
Actual ill, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I said, oh, you're right. Yeah, this Geodude does look kind of weird. He looks like he is ill. Let's put him out of his misery. And I just killed the shiny. And I've clipped it perfectly so no one has the context. And I'm like, that is going to be I hope this one works. It's such a good bait clip of being like, yeah, that Geodude looks really unwell. Let's kill it. And then I'm just going to put it on TikTok and be like, I think this Geodude was sick or something.
That's good.
You're gonna get all the Pokemon fans being like, "You idiot! What are you doing?
You had a 1 in
killed the
10,000
shiny."
chance. Yeah. Stupid. No, that's
1
good.
in 8,092 chance.
Yeah.
LJ, this is just chef's kiss. I can't wait to see how it goes.
Yeah, no, that's
we'll
very
see.
good.
But yeah, so I'm planning out a bunch of stuff, so I'm pretty interested to do it. I think that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Dude, I know we're supposed to talk about SUBtember.
Mm-hmm.
I've started the thing in September. It's called No Shit September.
Okay.
I have decided, I've just been pretty much just like not holding myself to a ridiculous standard, instead just doing whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I want to read out a tweet DM that I got from you guys for today to you guys.
Okay.
This came into my DMs.
Okay.
And it's from a guy called Gorky. I won't say the second half, but he goes, "Hey LJ, it's Gorky. And I don't care if you respond to this DM or not, but I just wanted to let you know that I called you a fat Chris Pratt in your stream today, but your comeback was 11 out of 10. If you're wondering, he came in, he said, LJ, you look like fat Chris Pratt. And I said, well, Gorky, you look like a cunt. And then I just kept playing the game. And the entire chat is just kick W, kick W, kick W, kick W, kick W. And he just writes in chat, well, fair enough.
Good on you, Gorky. Fair enough is a good thing.
But I've just decided that I just legitimately have gone, you know what?
Yeah.
I worry too much. You know what I mean? I worry too much. I want to play games. I'm going to talk smack. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to do all sorts of stuff and whatever. Chat is loving it. Like,
Good.
they're absolutely loving it. I'm running sub goals again, which is something I haven't done in ages because I've been worried about the recession and people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't force them to buy, you know. And
LJ's going through his
good.
rebellious phase again.
Yeah, the rebellious Twitch phase.
dude, you should have, if you want to know about No Shits Given, you should have seen me on 10 hours into Getting Over It with Benny Hanna.
Let's
Holy
move on to
crap.
this. So this is what you were talking about. You have gone back to your gamer roots. You've now done a stream which went for about 10 and a half hours. Was that right?
It was 12 hours.
12-hour stream. And let's get into it. So the game was...
Getting Over It with Benny Hanna, right?
Benny Hanna? Okay.
It's Benny Hanna, yeah.
Right,
it's the
right,
original. It's the original Rage game, right?
Okay.
Like I think it's the original Rage game personally, in terms
That
of like
and Quap.
streamer.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But Quap was also like a little bit more fun, I find.
It was,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It was designed to be kind of fun, but
Yeah,
Getting
like,
Over It is
I wanna be
designed
the
to be
Boshi
ragey.
as well.
Pardon?
I want to be the Boshi. That's another like.
Oh, yeah,
OG
Boshi.
Rage
Yeah,
game.
I remember that.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Getting Over It, I think, is like the one that like, a lot of streamers kind of like started their ragey stuff with, and they move on to Jump King, and then they move from Jump King into Pogo Stuck. They
Yep.
enjoy it, right? But like, it's kind of a meme that every creator has to try and do Getting Over It. Now, I've done Getting Over It a few times, but I've never gotten really much further than the slide. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
kind of get to that point, and then I'm like 3-4 hours into stream, and I'm like, cool, I'm out,
Yeah.
right? But I made the rule. I said I'm not ending stream until I beat Getting Over It with Benny Hanna, right?
Okay.
And so I start the run. Oh, and I should clarify, I did add another rule to this. I said, if any text-to-speech makes me laugh, I'll reset. And if every 5 subs, I'll also reset.
Okay.
So I was pretty much up to orange hell, which is like not even 50% really. But I kept getting up to orange hell and then people would reset me, right? And I just kept pushing. And I don't know about you guys, but I find that when you're playing a game like that that's hard, or like a game like Elden Ring or something like that, or a game where you're versing a really difficult boss, you kind of have like the very first run against it you do is your best, right? Yep. And then from there, it tends to go all downhill as you get more and more tired and start overthinking and stuff like that. You take a break, you go away, you come back, and then usually you beat the boss.
Yes.
Right?
Correct. Breaks are always good.
The resets meant that my like golden era of like when I was actually good at the game was just spent getting back to the orange hell over and over and over again. And then finally, when I turned off resets, I managed to start getting up to like the bucket, which is real close to the end. Not at the end, but close to the end. And I was like, okay, cool. But by that point, I was so dead that like legitimately, I would like put my mouse on the furthest point of my mouse pad, do the pogo, and I wouldn't even get high enough to do the jump. A jump that I was like 100%ing every single time. Like earlier in this thing, like I do this like one jump off anvil, like where you have to do it. Every single time I'd get high enough for it. But at this point in the game, I was so dead that I couldn't push my mouse hard enough to do the jump. So I was like upping my DPI to try to do it. And then I was just missing shit and it was so hard. And I was just like brutalized. I was brutalized, dudes. And like, I couldn't do it. I just physically couldn't do it. But about 10 and a half hours in, I was kind of at my limit. A lot of it, I wasn't even talking. I was just playing good music and hyping myself up and putting on like the da-da-da-da like music and stuff like that. And everyone was loving it, right? It's one of my best streams of all time. And everyone's loving it. And about 10 and a half hours in, while I've got some epic music playing, I'm trying to make a jump. Some dude goes, it was like 9 hours in. Some dude goes, if you beat it in under 10 hours, I'll give you $200. Now, this chatter is a chatter that I've talked about on stream on the podcast before. Okay. He's one of the guys who I gave a 10-day timeout to, and then his alt came back and I gave another 10-day timeout. Okay.
So you don't believe in the words that have been said.
So I'm annoyed at this point because he's also clearly like, he's said a bunch of stuff and I'm like, this person is clearly not like, he's not more than 13, right?
Right. Gotcha.
And I'm in a bad headspace 9.5 hours in, and this guy's like, I'll give you $200, you beat it in 10 hours. And so I just like shut all the music off and I'm like, oi, I don't think you're old enough to have a fucking bank card or an account based on your chat messages. So shut the fuck up about your $200. You don't have $200. Sit down and suck my dick. And I keep playing. And the entire chat's just like fucking lull W's, heck W's, laughing their ass off. And he's like, I do. I have $208 in cash. And I was like, in cash. Oh, right. Yeah, of course you do.
I'll send it over to you via carrier pigeon. Yeah.
God, you guys are going to kill me by making me laugh. Dude, I'm just coughing.
I got a much better one for you though. Some other dude in chat comes in and goes, man, this level, it looks so hard. It smells like 80-year-old puss. And I just turned all my music off. I looked at him and I'm like, my brother in Christ, did you just admit that you know what 80-year-old pussy smells like?
And what did he say? Was he silent after that? Or was he like, nah, bro?
Someone said no one knows what 80-year-old puss smells like. And I said, and this was the day the Queen passed away, and this might be fucked up, but I'm like 9 hours in, and I said, well, some coroner in London's going to know what 96-year-old puss smells like.
This really is no shit SUBtember. Holy hell, man. My God.
Dude, okay. It was really only the getting over it stream that really went off the rails, because like after like 9.5 hours, or even after like 3.5 hours, you really get to the point where you're like, okay, all right now. Like, and the thing is, I'd also had the same joke being said over and over. Like some 12-year-old comes in and goes, did you know you can press R to go on easy mode or no clip mode? And R is reset. It resets the whole game, right? All your progress is lost. And so every time I'd be like, oh my God, you're so funny, you little piece of shit. It's just like start yelling at you.
This 10-year-old kid.
I want to, one day we need to hire an editor to go through like all the podcast episodes to basically document the journey to madness of LJ, like from when we first started, you know, like very
caring
like,
individual,
like polite, you know, very like, and then just it just goes downhill.
Like, fuck everything.
I am telling you though, this new mindset has made my active chatters higher. It's made subs higher. It has made follows higher. People are laughing more. Like legitimately, it's doing so much better. Because I'm also still being nice 90% of the time. It's just every now and then I'm roasting like 1 or 2 chatters, right? And I only do it to the ones who sort of deserve it, right? Like some other dude comes in, he's like spamming like, ride the snake, ride the snake. Dude, if you ride the snake, it takes you to the easy part so you can beat the game. Riding the snake takes you from like 95% beaten to the very start.
Yeah.
Like very start. And I'm like, oh my God, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And then he goes, yeah, ride it. And I'm like, I'm not going to ride it, you fucking idiot. Okay. I know I'm not going to ride it. You're 13 years old. You shouldn't even be in Twitch chat right now. Go do your homework. Right. And he's like, I'm not 13, I'm 14. I'm like, man, get out of here. I'm like, yeah, you're proving my point. You're spamming about this snake while everyone else is like hyping up, trying to like get me past this next section.
Yeah.
But again, people are loving it, dude. People are loving it.
I'm loving hearing about it.
Yeah.
Only problem is not overly brand safe, is it?
I mean, it depends what your kind of narrative is and what you'd like to be seen as. You want to be like a brand representative, people, you just want to do your own shit. Like that's the main thing.
Hear me out.
Okay.
I think that it's one of those things where it's like 5% of the time. Like it's like that kind of thing, right? And then the rest of it is just normal, like pretty chill, everything's fine and stuff like that. And it's very easy to go from being that to being just purely doing the brand stuff, which I think that honestly, it's really just, I do that sort of thing anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that big a deal. It's more so that it just we get less chatters coming in who are just like, they come in and they're a bit spammy or they don't fit the vibe and they stick around too long. And rather than banning them, you turn them into content a little bit. Right? And it's like, it's only the people who legitimately are like, you can tell they're just there to troll people, right? They're just there to be trolls or to be idiots or they're not fitting the vibe and they're just saying shit. And you're like, you add nothing, right?
Gotcha.
Same thing is like, because the Queen had passed away the day of that stream. So all these people kept coming in being like, did you hear about her Royal Majesty? Did you hear? Did you hear the Queen died? Did you hear she died? And every single time I do the same thing, I'd be like, dude, I heard. And the first thing I thought of was, fuck, that one Twitch chatter who has a Tory vote, who wears a Union Jack shirt, has a Union Jack tattooed on his ass, is going to be sat there crying because you, chatter, you love the Queen. You think about it all the time. And her passing away at 96 years of age, I'm sure this really wrecks you, doesn't it? This just absolutely destroys you, doesn't it? And they'll all be like, oh, yeah. And they're all American.
Oh,
like the actual British people in my chat don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like they don't care. It's
Dude,
just
I had somebody
in.
come in the other day. This is 4 days after it happened going, did you hear the Queen died? And I was like, if I didn't, my dude, like, am I even a human being right now? Do I even like exist in this universe? But what is that thing of like people just coming in and being like, yo, did you hear about this like tragedy to some people out there that happened? And you're like, yeah, what do you want me to do about it? What do you just want to hear my opinions or views?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I think there are 2 routes. There's the one route, which is like people who they want to seem like they're interested and up to date with worldly news, right? Those people are harmless, right? That's like how when I was a teenager, I would read a book and that'd become my whole personality, right?
Gotcha.
That's fine, whatever. You do that, you'll grow out of it, whatever. But then there's the other side of it. And it's like, wow, you have no existence in life that brings value. It's like legitimately, because it's like legitimately, they're like, X traumatic thing has happened. I need to go between every single Discord server and post the same copy pasted message. I don't care about the replies. I just need to be the one that shares the traumatic news to everyone. Yeah. And I just need to be the one that has the interesting value. This is my entire personality for the next 24 hours. And then I'm going to find out about something else. I'm going to spam that to everyone else in the wrong and inappropriate locations where people don't want to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, like it's like, why do that? Like, why? Do you not have friends or family to go talk to? Do you not have a movie you'd really want to watch or a book that you're really interested in reading?
Yeah,
you know?
I think you're right in terms of they do just want to be the focus of attention, because to them I feel like it's like if the person doesn't know about it, then like how can you not know about it? And they're like the kind of news giver. So people think, oh wow, they are so worldly. They are so like fascinating that they know all this stuff. And it really is just this annoying thing that everybody else sees them for what they truly are. And that's just like attention grabbing, like user. Yeah.
You just have to treat it like the Jeremy Clarkson clips. Like, oh no, anyway.
Yeah,
legitimately, yeah. But it's so strange,
true.
isn't it? Like, it is so strange that people just like, and I find it's always like someone quite young, right? Like it's always like, they're usually not like, maybe like early 20s sometimes, But it's usually like they're just not really.
They're
not just in a
teenagers,
place-
man. They just
like,
they're just still trying to find themselves.
yeah, like a lot of the time, right? And then there's the few who are just like, who you can tell like their entire personality is just like finding whatever thing is going on in the world and then obsessing over that for like the next 24 hours and they move on to something else. And it's very, to me, I get it. It's the same as I said, when I was 15, I read a book and that was everything I cared about. But it's very vapid as well.
Yeah.
Very like shallow that like, it's just like your entire like existence that you're bringing to other people right now is, hey, did you hear about X traumatic thing? You should think about it and talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the Trash Taste podcast the other day, and they were talking about something. I'm not going to bring it up, but they talked about something that's happening in the world in pop culture. And in the world of streaming and pop culture and stuff like that, sometimes things happen, and we get very split as an industry about whether or not you should support it or whether you shouldn't, right? And so they were talking about this thing, but they didn't bring up any of the drama or stuff around it. And I was kind of like, you know what? I was expecting them to bring it up, but I'm kind of glad they didn't because it's very heavily covered already in the news. It's very covered already in the space. You know what? I don't really need it here as well. You know what I mean? Like I'm listening to this podcast because I'm actually trying to get away from thinking about all this crap and I just want to kind of chill out, right? Like this is my break while I go for a walk and touch grass. And I find like that, I was like, it kind of hit me. I was like, man, not everything has to come with the warning label of, oh, you like Kit Kats? Oh, that means you like Nestle, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to focus on to focus on when you're doing this stuff, to kind of be like, if you care 100% about every individual thing, you're never really going to be able to actually care about the things that really matter, I find. Is that weird?
No.
And I find that a lot of people just like, they go hard on everything. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
There are people out there, if you don't have the mental health strain to be able to like, be the perfect person, it's okay. There are people out there with much more resources who are looking after it as well. You just do your best and you can still eat Kit Kats. You know, like you can still.
The thing is like our lives, you know, our small lives in comparison to the world and whatever, right? Like we're not really going to be, we're not impacted by this. We didn't know the Queen personally, all this stuff. Like people are just, you know, like it's sad and everything. It's like at the end of the day, it's like, get over it. Like it happened. It sucks, but you know, you move on. I actually have a little bit of a funny story in relation to this though. So last week, I was in VC with a few friends late at night and we were just chatting and stuff. And we'd briefly spoken about, you know, the Queen, whatever. And we're saying like, oh, you know, yeah, she's getting really sick. Everyone's going with it. It's like, oh yeah. I was like, oh yeah, she's probably going to die pretty soon. But anyway, look, it's getting late. I'm going to head off to bed. I wake up the next morning. 9 minutes after I left that Discord call and said she's dying soon, I get a message. Dude, she just died.
Nick murdered the Queen. What can I say?
We're going to show the Twitter handle right now if you want to maybe let themselves be known. What a jinx.
Here's the thing. Nick does have a sore throat. Maybe he got sick on a long haul flight to murder the Queen.
Maybe he was the one who smelled the 96-year-old vagina.
Listen, I gotta go now.
As you should. No, but it is the thing. I understand that people, it's also the thing you can't escape it, right? So you feel like you have to bring it, and once you've addressed it, you've addressed it. But when people new come into your chat and they don't know that you've addressed it or are not addressing it or whatever, they just keep harping on about it. And it's just kind of like this broken record. Luckily, it was only the one message for me. So I'm like, great. People know that I'm a distraction, that are watching me, and I'm not here to talk about politics or what I feel about it. But it is very interesting to see what other people had to go through when the Queen, obviously on the day, because I didn't stream that day, what happened to them.
It's every single time a traumatic thing happens.
Yeah.
I had someone join my chat the other day and bring up a terrorist situation that was unfolding live. And I was like, I literally just said to them, I was like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
Like, why are you telling any of us this? This is why? And they were like, oh, I just thought you'd want to know. I was like, why would I want in any way right now while I'm sitting here played up with Reaps and Micromads?
Yeah.
Why in any way would I want to know about what sounds like a very serious situation?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah. It's not fun either. It's this thing of like, because, you know, it's imagine going to like a McDonald's and then announcing to everyone, just that everyone should know while you're eating your food that down the road, somebody had a car crash. And you're like, Cool. I understand that's in my spectrum, but it is not relating to me at all. And people don't know. I think it is that social, emotional level that people just don't get. They just have to throw it out there. They, as you said, LT, they have to seem worldly. They have to be the center of attention for being like, can we just not? Because again, we've said this multiple times. We are a distraction. I'm not here to talk about politics. Yes, I've got my views on politics. And people may call me a coward for not bringing them up, but I don't want to. Like, what's it going to achieve if I actually address this situation? It's going to cause a lot of division and just people yelling at each other that they're this, that, and the other. I'm like, I want to escape that shit. And I think a lot of viewers do too. They come onto Twitch, I believe, to escape crap, not to kind of have it brought up to them.
Yeah, and I think there's a big conversation around the fact that, you know, that's called the we can do that because it's privilege, right? Like we're privileged enough that we can do that, right? And I do actually agree to an extent that there is a certain privilege that we can have, right? So for example, I say I don't talk about politics, and some people have said that's privilege, and I've always said the same thing. It's like I don't talk about politics, but I make my stance on these things very well known in the way I treat people.
Yep.
We don't allow slurs in the chat. We don't even allow people to say that's the R word or that's gay, because those are negative connotations to things that aren't negative, you know? And I think a lot of people want to assume that by saying we don't talk about politics here, it is entirely a place of privilege. And it's like, well, not quite. It's more that we're going to take action in this way to create a safe environment for you, right? Like we're going to do these things and we're still going to help out. We're still a part of these things. We still support all LGBTQIA+. You know, the reason we don't talk about politics though is because like for example, when there was this big trans bill going on in America a while back, like a year ago, I think it was, maybe longer, I had a lot of people being like, hey, did you hear about this? And I specifically have multiple people in my community who are trans, and none of them said anything about this in chat, right? But other people brought it up. And I had actually reached out and said to one of them, I was like, hey, is this something that I should talk about? And they were like, honestly, I'd rather just be able to hang out and watch you play Stardew.
Yep.
Like you already create a safe environment. You know what I mean? You already tell people if they're homophobic or any of these things to get out. Like, I don't need to hear it here as well. This is my safe place. And I was like, I took that as a really big moment. And then when the blackout Twitch stuff happened, I have a community member in my chat who, I got a lot of LGBT people in my chat because I do create a safe space. But one particular member was like, I wasn't sure if you're going to bring it up or not. And I said, I am going to bring it up. I have a large audience of small streamers who have no idea this is happening. If I don't go live though, they're not going to know it ever happened, right? Because me not going live, no one's going to get the message. No, you know what I mean? I could ping the Discord, I could tweet, I could do everything. No one's going to get the message. So for me, that blackout doesn't work. So instead, I went live. I had it in my title, I had it in my commands. I had links and commands and stuff that linked out to Jordan Rasco's tweets on the situation. Because I actually took I took a leaf from Jordan's book. She said that the blackout, she supported it entirely, but she felt that it was better to use our audiences and the message and stuff like that by being live, right? Because if someone tries to kick you out with hate raids and says, get out of here, we don't want LGBTQI people, we're going to hate raid you. Jordan said, I don't want to just walk away quietly and let them have the space. I want to sit in there. I want to be louder. And they use the words, I want to be gayer.
Yeah.
And I read that and I was like, okay, cool. So if I do a blackout and I don't go live, no one's going to know about this stuff, right? None of my chat will. And so instead I went live. I spent the first 30 minutes talking about it, linked out to it, pushed to it, said stuff like that. We had all these links of resources, information, things like that. And then it came out a few weeks later that by not going live, technically all that happened was less people heard about the movement. Like that's major. What actually happened was less people heard about the movement. And there's a whole thing about the fact that because less people were live that day, Twitch saved on server costs.
Gotcha.
And that was like the whole thing. Whereas there were some other creators who were just posting their live stream with a list of information on it as like a black screen. Yeah. I sadly can't talk. I didn't know how to do that at the time. So I just did my own thing. And I don't know. I think there's a good way to show that like you can still use your audience, you can still use your privilege without making a safe place where people go to relax turn into somewhere where they're constantly still being bombarded by the news. You know what I mean?
I also think, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. In terms of like, if you go, I'm going to stream on the day that there's a blackout, people could be against you. If you don't stream on the day where there's going to be a blackout, there'll be other people against you saying, why are you not streaming this day because of this reason? There's no real way of winning. So I guess it's really like what you yourself have to put up with and what image that you think is best for you. And by image, I don't mean you're doing like the publicity damage control type thing. in terms of what you think is best for the cause that's given at that time. Like, we know that obviously the Queen passing away is a huge thing, especially if you live in England, you know, or a Commonwealth country, you know, which we are, Australia, obviously, because there's a lot of people who follow the Queen, they follow the monarchy and da. But it depends on what you feel of the situation. So if it doesn't really solely like make you feel this thing of like, I have to tweet about it, I have to talk about it, then you don't have to. You don't feel like just because everybody else is that you have to. And I feel people fall into that trap of like, oh, because this is the big thing at the moment, I have to get in on it. And I feel like that makes content go down a lot in my books, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. Like, I think that, you know, I think it's going to be hard because as 3 straight-facing white males, we do have a lot of privilege. Like, we do, like, inherently
without
have
a
a lot
shadow
of
of a doubt.
privilege.
Yeah.
And I think it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, well, recently Rambo, every time he did a stream, he would use, he would do donations and charity and stuff for those charity streams to the Trevor Project, which is something that I always donate to as well whenever I do stuff, because the Trevor Project is mental health for trans and LGBTQIA plus community members, right? Which I love. I think they're an amazing charity from everything I've been told and all the research I've done. But Rambo was recently being criticized because he didn't do enough for POC charities, so people of color charities. And he kind of addressed it and said, look, I'll try to do more. He's always spoken about it and said, like, you know, these are things that I support. I support Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. But he'd never done charity for it. And so he was criticized quite a bit, and I believe he's going to start trying to do it. But I think that's a good example of, you just have to do your best to be a good person, right? If even someone like Rambo, who's like clearly very progressive, clearly wants to do the right, can still mess up, even just slightly, it's always going to happen. And you just have to try and do things with good intent and do things with the best choice you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I find that on the actual core topic, before we probably move on to the SUBtember stuff, I understand that saying, look, no politics is seen as a privilege or seen as maybe being a coward. But I do think you can still, maybe a hot take, I don't think treating people with basic human rights is politics. You know what I mean? I don't think like me being an ally to LGBTQIA+, me caring about the movement, me caring about those things or anything like that, I don't see that as politics. I just see that as trying to create a safe space. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And when I say don't talk about politics, it's mainly there purely so that I don't have to hear about all the things that are happening in the US all the time. Because I have a large US audience who is tired of being bombarded.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I think that you just have to do your best with good intent to create safe spaces for your community members.
I agree. I think it's all about distraction most of the time. I'm not saying that like people are there to like ignore it. I don't think that's the big thing that I would like to say on all of our behalf, is that we're not ignoring the issues. I think it's more the fact of like, when's the appropriate time to talk about the issues, and a stream where I'm playing a horror game may not be that time, because there already is, you know, horror happening around the rest of the world that people like, I don't want to talk about this crap.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
When it came to the movement, like, I did the same thing as LJ did. Like, I saw Jordan's stance on it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I really agree with that. And I did the same thing that night as well.
Yeah.
I honestly, I love Jordan. Jordan is one of the funniest people in the entirety of Australia.
Yeah.
I grew up watching Jordan when they were still in Axis of Awesome.
Yeah,
and doing all
the
those
4
things.
chord song. And she's so cool, man. Like, I had the opportunity to actually have like a late lunch with her and Jonathan Ong. We did this like thing, and you know, we're all kind of like in New South Wales and stuff. And she's so sweet. Like, it really is. She's so funny as well. Like, you know, when people like can go off the filter once they're not in front of a camera, like it was just hilarious to see her true side just like let loose. I'm sure it's so good.
Is it?
I take a lot of leave.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, is it weird for you guys as well? Like you obviously like kind of growing up watching Jordan in Axis of Awesome, stuff like that. Is it weird that like you're in a position like, yeah, I'm good friends with this person.
Yeah,
now?
it's very peculiar. It is. You feel like I'm not
friends with her, to be honest. I've never met her, but at the same time, it's just like, I just think it's cool. You know,
it is.
I think it's cool when you look at the ANZ space and you realize how many of like ANZ comedy content creators have actually transitioned into an online space really well. Like, also, like, you could look at someone like Auntie Donna, who started in an online space, went to mainstream, and they're now back in the online space with Twitch and other things like that. Or like even Bajo. Bajo, we all probably grew up watching Good Game, right?
Yeah.
And now he's like one of the biggest ANZ streamers that we all know and watch, and he does his thing and stuff. I just think the ANZ space is so cool for that. I actually also think the ANZ space is probably one of the best creator community spaces on the entirety of Twitch.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Because you don't get bogged down a lot of the time in so much crap. Like there's so much crap and politics in the American side of things. Where like I don't know, I've talked to a few American creators and they're like, oh yeah, no, everything is just everyone hates each other.
Yeah.
And there's so much drama between groups and who you have to be in with and who you don't have to be in with.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Like with the American type of content, I find it's more like a reality show most of the time. Like the big time streamers, it's all about drama, drama, drama. While in the people, when we say ANZ, we're talking about Australia, New Zealand space. It's basically more just kind of like I'm sure there is drama, but not to the extent of like calling each other out or having each other on each other's streams. It's more just kind of like this jokey type of, you call him a cunt, call her a cunt, you know, that type of thing, but like in a matey way. Like it's really weird. Yeah.
Well, a few people in chat thought you and I were angry at each other, Reaps.
Really?
Because
when?
During the Played Up Micromad stream, I started saying the CTA of like, you can type ! visit to visit.
Yeah.
And then halfway through my sentence, you were like, yeah, you can. Everyone, ! visit. And I said, look at this piece of shit talking over me. Right. Right. And then you were like, yeah, it's almost like you're in a collab. And I was like, yeah, piece of shit. And then people were like, oh, little, are you okay? Is everyone all right?
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
Yeah, dude, we're chill.
Oh,
it's like,
that's
we're fine,
great.
man. It's all right.
We need to yell at each other. Let's create this. Let's actually take the American meta at the moment and just create drama. And just like big capital letters on stream, drama incoming, talk inside, do all the like what Creator did when he got banned. He was like, you want to find out everything, here's all the drama, join the Discord, It was great.
It's the donkey thing, right? And he said he was done making good videos, right? He started doing drama Mondays where he'd just make up fake drama.
That's
and he'd be
right,
like, Logan Paul threw a thing of Jif peanut butter at his brother Jake Paul, right? Like, and like all sorts of stuff. Donkey's so funny with that stuff.
I love Donkey.
Dude, okay. The other thing with the Played Up one was when you and I 1v1'd it, because if anyone doesn't know, Reaps and I and Micromads also did another stream where we did Fall Guys and Played Up, and we got through all 15 levels of Played Up and entered overtime, and then we lost. By the way, found out you're kind of supposed to lose at that point.
Oh, okay.
Because you're supposed to grind and level up a bunch, and that actually is what gets you all the automation and stuff like that next time.
Okay.
So like you unlock new restaurant sizes and stuff like that. It was pretty much impossible for us to get past what we got up to. But either way, during it, we had this like jokey like argument, like jokey kind of rivalry between the kitchen staff, aka me, and the front of house staff, Mads and Reaps.
We kept going for
like,
smoko breaks.
Yeah. And at like level 15, right before we started, I'm like, can we get a stand-up meeting? We all meet outside. I'm like, I know there's been some threatenings of stabbings and some swearing and some people yelling at each other and telling people to clear plates. But I just want to say, I love you guys. No, I'm ready to do level 15. And then Mads and Reaps just walk outside and go, what a fucking loser. Oh, man. Get out. Screw that guy, you know. I'm like, you guys ready?
On microphone, like to all of our streams. Yeah.
And people are like,
Really?
Yeah.
How do they not know we're role play? Anyway.
Come on, dude. Okay, I've got a new scene that I've just been building, right? That is going to be on this scene here, but I have to make my shot wider, so I got to change some stuff. But essentially the words, the joke, and like so the, and then joke, and it's going to press a button, and it's going to go,
Oh, nice. Good. I like that.
So anytime it happens, I can press it and be like, whoa!
What's going on, fellas? Speaking of amazing communities, though, I just want to give a quick shout out to my own. I know this is very narcissistic and everything, but I was messaged by, what a piece of shit. I was messaged by my moderators. They're like, we want you to play something. And I was like, what do you mean you want me to play something? They're like, we want you to play something on stream. And I'm like, I don't trust you. Like, I don't trust what you I need to know what it is. They're like, no, we'll send you something. We'll send you a link. You got to play it. They sent me a link.
This tweet was about?
Downloaded it. Yeah. Downloaded it. They made a game set in my studio that I made as a 3D thing. It was about escaping the basement. If you don't know, all my tier 1 subs, I make a joke that they live in the basement. They've got a chamber pot. They get bread and water on the daily, and they get a leaky faucet for their hygiene reasons, right? So like they're prisoners. And they made an entire game of trying to escape the basement. Like I'm talking a full-fledged like 3-hour playthrough game. And I have never been so kind of like, oh my God, I've made it in terms of, I've actually got a game named after this universe that I kind of helped create. And it just felt so surreal to have full-fledged like game designers, and I'm guessing they hired an actual voiceover artist and everything to be a part of it. And they're releasing it on itch.io. Yeah, it was insane.
It was so cool.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just kind of like, this is otherworldly. And I never would have thought like 5 years ago, whatever it was, that this would ever happen in terms of, because people always come into your stream like, I'm going to include you in a game or something like that. And you're like, yeah, sure. But they actually did it. And it was just very surreal to play and see all these in-jokes and people like just watching along and wanting to play it themselves. It was just an amazing experience. So shout out to my boys, Jordangle and Dinda, for doing that, and everyone, all the other mods out there. So I'll be sure to include a link if you want to play it.
Yeah,
that was so cool to watch. I saw it all.
Yeah,
I was really confused because I didn't see the tweet until I got home from work.
Yeah,
and I didn't understand what it was meant, and I was like, "What?" Because it had LJ and I tagged in this tweet. Like someone tweeted out at us, and I was like, "Okay," and then I just like moved on. I had no idea what was going on, so I'm glad to understand what actually happened.
Yeah. It was just a surreal thing.
It was Much Up tweeted and said it was happening.
Yeah,
and I was like, I dropped by, and I was like, "What? Did I get tagged because I'm here too? Am I in it too, guys? Am I in it too, guys? Am I in it too?" And I didn't see anything. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, get out of here, you fucking idiots. I'm sure there's lots of Easter eggs I didn't discover, but yeah, it was very, very, very cool. But we should probably get on to the actual topic of what we were talking about at the very start, and that is SUBtember. If you don't know what SUBtember is, it's a time, usually in September, around for Twitch, where basically there's usually a discount of some sort when it comes to subs, whether that be gifted subs, your own subs, multi-month subs, or primes, whatever it is, right? And there's been a lot of kind of backlash about this year's SUBtember. So if you don't know what this year's SUBtember is, it's basically from September 1 to the end of September. You will get 20% off 1 month subs, 25% off 3 month subs, 30% off 6 month subs. That's if you renew them. It's not just if you if you're already subscribed, there's no real discount unless you extend it, right? So a lot of people have gone online to Twitter, to Instagram, whatever it is, and said, what a jip. Because last year you would get discounts to actually do subs in terms of gifted subs. They would give you like 20% off gifted subs. So firstly, we'll touch on that. So boys, how do you feel about this year's SUBtember?
I have personally never really taken advantage of SUBtember. I've never like done a exclamation mark SUBtember type in the thing, you know. I know that some people have, and it's gone really, really well for them.
Yeah.
But I've never really done that. So last year was my first real experience with it. So I did think that like gifted subs were something that was like a thing that happened every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then this year I saw all the drama and I was like, oh, classic streamer drama, and just ignored it all. And then I saw people being like, oh, normally they save the gifting stuff for the final week of September. And I was like, oh, okay. So people are just creating drama over nothing. But hear me out. I get it. I understand. But also at the same time, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I just find that this is like, why is it that every single time Twitch does anything, there has to be some sort of like massive anger from the community around it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's minimal things. You know what I mean? It's not like your service, everything to do with it. Nothing has changed. You're getting to do all the same stuff you normally do. But you know what? If you're a newbie or you want to extend your sub, you'll get a discount. How dare you?
It's literally the thing of like, no, it sucks that they didn't do it as like they're not doing it as strong as they did last year. But like, that's the extent of it. There's no need to get like furiously mad about the fact that, oh, you want to give subs, you still have to pay full price to give subs. Like, it's just, it's their decision. That like clearly, it's common knowledge. Twitch is like still probably not profitable, right? So this is probably just a cost saving measure on their part. There's a lot of changes that they're implementing like this, in the last few months. So it's like, yeah, it sucks. It'd be nice if they still did the discount on gifted subs, but at the end of the day, like there was never the expectation that they had to do this anyway in the first place. So
I completely agree. I think it's the precedent set in terms of like when you do something the previous year, people expect the same, if not more, the next year. And honestly, last year's was great. But let's just say, so this year is presented by Legion by Lenovo, so they're obviously sponsoring it. Last year was Grubhub, so they sponsored last year. But here's the thing. I have gone back through all the SUBtembers. SUBtember started back in 2017. And last year was great because of the gifted subs. But I'll have you know, I don't think there's any other year, there possibly may be one, where there was a gifted sub discount. So in 2020, it was 20% off the first month of a new recurring 1 month subscription, 25% off the first 3 months, 30% off the first 6 months. So basically, kind of similar to exactly what happened this year, right? Then we go back to 2019. SUBtember is back and better than ever. So through September 24th, in partnership with Subway, we're offering 50% off a new tier 1 subscription to any new one. So that's why people did the gifted, because you could actually give it to people and they'll get 50% off the gifted subscription, but you have to know if they were new to the channel or not. Then you go back to 2018? SUBtember is back. Continue a gift subscription for 80% off. So it wasn't to you or somebody else. If you got a gifted a subscription, then you could then pay $1 for an extra month.
So it's been different every year by the sounds of it.
Yeah, 2017.
So it's just different again.
It's just different every year. Yeah. So there's been a lot of crap going on. And the first year ever, SUBtember is here. Get 50% off the first month of any new sub. So it's practically always been any new sub, you'll get a discount. It was only last year that they put in terms of it actually relates over to gifted subs. Crazy.
This is what I mean, right? This is what I mean when people go, "Oh, LJ, you're too salty about Twitch changes and small streamer Twitter. You're too salty about it." But this is like such a good example of just people just being so off base, like confidently off base and ready to be angry at Twitch. And it's like, the other day there's this guy on Twitter who's one of the Twitch campaign managers.
Yeah.
And I think his name's Ben. And I follow him because he just started the podcast where he talks to content creators. And I'm like, maybe he'll add me. And I was like, I'll see how it goes. And he was tweeting out about the fact that he always gets surprised that all of the hate comments or all of the really negative or all the misunderstood comments, you assume they're a kid. But then he goes and looks and it's like a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Right. And I replied back to it being like, one of the weirdest revelations I made was the fact that almost every single misinformed or angry comment I get isn't from a kid. It's from like a 25 to 30-year-old man. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh yeah," the guy was like, and I said, they usually just having a bad day, so I just ignore them, right? And he said, "I guess jealousy breeds anger." And I said, "I actually don't think these people are jealous." Right? I said, "I think that what happens is people want to be content creators. They are dreaming of being streamers, right? It is their dream job. And because it is a dream job, when it doesn't work out, the frustration is so much larger." Yeah. It's not jealousy. It's just that they're so frustrated and so annoyed because they want to get bigger. They want to be the next one. And we've all been there, right? Yep. We've all been frustrated.
For sure.
And but it builds up, right? They spend 3 years and they don't get past 5 average viewers and they keep getting frustrated and frustrated and frustrated and they get angry. And so the space that we're in has so many people who are so frustrated at the fact they're not growing. And the statement of Twitch makes it hard for small streamers to grow is perpetuated so much. And so many people have made Twitch the enemy, the bad person, that now it's like no matter what happens in this space, all of that frustration, rather than directing it inward and trying to improve or figure out a reason of how you can stand out more, it all just gets directed at other people. All of it just gets directed at the Twitch support staff, the Twitch tweets, the feature changes, the comments of someone talking about how to do stream labels. You know what I mean? All of it. And it's it's impossible to solve this. This is always going to be a problem until the narrative gets shifted of, hey, if you're not growing, don't get angry at a platform. Yeah. Look inwards and figure out how you can be different, right? But I swear to God, one of the best and worst things to happen in this industry are content creators making Twitch the enemy. Best, because Twitch has gone out of their way to try change that perception, which means they're making really good changes. Yeah. Worst, because it's made a perception of people who no longer look inward at themselves about why they aren't growing and just blame Twitch. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's just this weird kind of back and forth because I guarantee you a lot of people wouldn't know what the previous year's SUBtembers were, apart from last year's, because that was their kind of litmus test of why isn't this, reinstigated this time around. But again, from the get-go, it was more just like an extra incentive for people to hopefully get new subscriptions to their channel by saying, if you are new here, well, guess what? You get 50% off to subscribe to this new person that you're watching right now, which is really cool. It's a great incentive, I find. And again, it's money out of the pocket of the sponsors and obviously Twitch itself, to make this 1 month possible. And maybe last year went so well that oh man, we're actually in the red here, that we need to kind of hone it back a bit so we can continue doing SUBtember.
And now they're getting crap, even though it is like just a discount. I understand that of course we all want, gifted subs to get like, a percentage off and to us to have the full amount and everything like that. But just think the fact that they are actually doing it each and every year, they could easily just make it defunct. It's just like, unfortunately, due to circumstances out of control, we're not any longer doing SUBtember, but, continue on and do what it is. But this is still money off. Like it's practically beat for beat the very first or second years of SUBtember repeated, and people are complaining about it.
It's just entitlement, isn't it? It's just like, it's just aggressive entitlement. And I think this is like one of the reasons why, like, if you want to pinpoint when my fall started, it's when I started noticing the entitlement in the space.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like when I started getting less and less excited to upload for Stream Scheme, when I started to get less and less keen about doing stuff or talking about streaming, it really does come back to the fact that like the entitlement on everything is so wild. Not from everyone, but the loud section of the industry comes across that way. Right? And like, I always have said to myself, dude, I am in no way the main character of any of this shit, right? Like I am following the rule. I'm probably not going to blow up. I'm not the main character. I'm going to work hard to try and do what I can though, right? And to see people being like, no, I am the main character. It blows me away. I don't understand it, dude. Like, I do not understand how people can be like, man, screw you, Twitch. How dare you give me 20% off new subs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what? The narrative could be twisted completely differently. It could have been like, in an effort to get more people checking out new streamers and small streamers, we've made it that any new channel you visit you've not been subbed to, you get 20% off a sub to that channel, right? That's Twitch. You just did something great because now people are going to run around finding new streamers they like, and maybe they're more likely to sub to them.
Correct.
Maybe no longer the giant streamers are going to like have all these funnels of gifted coming in SUBtember, and it might be spread out to smaller people. We don't know, but that's a whole different narrative with the same amount of basis and the same amount of claim as complaining about it not being the same as last year.
Right.
It's like, it's the PR spin of our industry that we have to just hate everything. And I can't, man.
I feel your frustration, my friend, because again, as I've said multiple times, it would have been great if it was gifted subs. But again, we can't expect that level of entitlement to just be like, yeah, it's going to repeat itself and it's going to be bigger and better than last year because I was relying on this 1 month to make back all my money, type of thing. You can't do that for the fact that it really is like this year's sponsor is Lenovo Legion. And they probably like, well, we can't like spend X amount of money to be like, we're going to fund everyone for a month because, streaming is a huge, huge platform at the moment. And now it's just kind of this backlash against both of them. And you're like, dudes, they're giving you money off. And we still get, that's the thing, we still get the full funds for money off. So they're literally paying for that like incremental decrease in subs for this one person. I don't get it. I know that we've harped on about it, but people are saying it's a scam because of what happened last year. I have to say it's not a scam at all. Any of this is welcome. Anytime you can get money off for, helping us get funded for subscriptions and whatever, I'm all for it. Now, obviously, people may be like, oh my God, what a suck up, everything like that. Fine, call me a suck up because I don't see any negativity when it comes to this. Another year may have been better, sure. But this year is still just as good as the previous years before last year. So what are we complaining about?
Dude, this is the exact same fucking situation that I had. Like, I feel like you're the person dealing with this one mainly. But like, this is the same situation I had when I saw everyone upset about boosted hype trains. I'm like sat here like, why are you guys upset? Hype trains give you an emote, and that is it. Nothing else. Okay? Boosted hype trains puts you on the front page. You may get extra attention.
Yep.
You don't know. But either way, a hype train is still giving you the same level of thing. Right? Like,
including the money on top of it from the subs.
Including money on top of
it.
And also, like, let's be real. Most people are like, I'm subbing to support the creator. They're not subbing for the emote they get from the hype train.
Sure.
Right? And so if they look at that, you don't even have to shout at that. If they look at that and go, boosted hype train, so you just support the creator and it might also put them on the front page. That's more incentive to support the creator. And the creator gets 100% of that, right? And everyone was like, paying for discovery? Like, no, you dense motherfucker. Like, you're a black hole of intelligence right now. That is not at all what it is. It might not be a good feature. You might not like it.
Yeah.
But it's not a scam. And it's not like, they're not taking anything away from you. They're not taking money away from the creator. They're not taking away the emotes because the emotes will still come up on every other hype train.
Yeah.
It's just every now and then they had for a little bit that you could pay onto a hype train and that would put people on the front page more as an experiment to see whether or not that would actually increase discovery.
Yes.
Right? Which to clarify as well, you always go on the front page when you get a hype train anyway. The only difference was, rather than being 3 rows down on the front page where it says join the hype train, you're at the top left, the main one, right? And people were like, this is such a bad concept. And it's like, no, dude, it's the exact same concept, but they've just written it out so you understand it.
Yeah.
Right? And you still don't understand it. Like, I swear to God, I every single Twitch feature change, I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. They're trying that. It's clearly a beta. It's an experiment. No, there's no downsides. They're not aggressively hurting anyone. It's just an experiment. That's cool. It actually might do really good things. We'll see how it goes in 2 weeks. And the entire community's there with fucking pitchforks and rioting like, get him. He's an ogre. Get him. Like,
He's an ogre. Shrek the Fifth, the twitching.
Twitch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Twitch.
I don't get it. Like the group of people, you know, that fall into that category that we're talking about.
oh yeah, it's not everyone, by the way.
Yeah,
actually.
it's not everyone,
It's,
but
not everyone. It's the loud ones that you notice all the time.
Yeah.
yeah, it's they're just like, they act like spoiled brats, like little toddlers. You know, like if it's not exactly perfect, you know, already is like they just have to be so vocal about it and go and, you know, abuse Twitch on the socials and tell everybody their opinion. It's like, there's just so much effort. Why do people, why? Like, why?
It's just screaming into the void, isn't it? And hoping that something screams back at you. But most of the time, it's just going to be an echo.
I think I don't even like talking about it. Like
Yeah.
I have to, and we have to, because it's like important to talk about this stuff so that people who listen to us don't fall into that crowd.
Yeah.
But I don't like talking about it because I just feel like the more I talk about it, or the more I have to talk about it, or the more it comes up, the more there's no way to actually explain it. Right? Like there is no way, because I'm sure there'll be someone who listens to this whole thing and they still like walk away from it thinking it's not good. Right?
Yeah.
Or they don't understand it. They don't get it right. And that's totally fair. Maybe like, we're probably explaining it wrong. Who cares? But like, look at my latest video. It's all about the Twitch exclusivity, right? I explain what the rules used to be, what the rules are now. I show all of the FAQ on screen as I talk and even highlight segments to give explanations, everything like that. It's not even a long video. It's a 12-minute video,
Okay.
right? I've done 30-minute videos before.
Yeah.
Like this is a short video for me. And I'm still getting comments, not all of them, but the ones that like the loud ones saying, so I'm allowed to multi-stream on any platform now? Or like saying things like, you should have explained this better. From watching this video, I feel like all you've explained is the fact that none of us could multi-stream before. We couldn't stream on any other platforms. Partners couldn't stream on any other platforms, but affiliates could. And now the change is that anyone can stream on any platform at any time they want. They just can't multi-stream to YouTube and Facebook, but they can multi-stream to TikTok. Why didn't you explain it better? Like, that's all I'm getting from this. I'm like, that's the change.
That's what
I did explain it.
I thought that was exactly what you would try to explain.
Right? But like they just like, and it's just like, yeah, that is the change. You know what I mean? Like what do you want me to say? And like there are so many comments of just people being like, I've wanted to multi-stream for ages now. Oh, dude, okay, we have to talk about Ninja.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
dude, nice segue to
what's
Mr.
happened?
Ninja. I think that did we just speak about it in Discord, or was it last week?
No,
that
we did.
Discord.
We did.
Yeah.
We did it on we did it on this. But we haven't talked about the multi-stream side.
Yeah, the multi-stream
Yeah,
stuff I posted in the Discord, but yes.
We talked about Ninja piecing out last week.
Yes, we talked about Ninja piecing out, yeah.
And 2 days after we recorded, right? He comes out and goes, just kidding, it's a publicity stunt. I'm multi-streaming everywhere now and canceling my partnerships and stuff like that so I can do that for you, right? And then we released the podcast 2 days later. And of course, the first comment is, clearly this is out of date and was recorded weeks ago. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 2 days. It's 2 days old. Like, it's 2 days old, man. No, if that's not me insulting that person commenting. I knew it was going to happen, by the way.
I understand it. So we'll take our admission here that yes, we recorded 6 days in advance so that we could do everything and make sure it's out on time, because I can't turn around crap in the day and it would still not be good. So yes.
We'll take the L.
We'll take the L.
But okay, essentially Ninja did a publicity stunt. He got upset for nothing, rage quit to get a viral tweet, and then just used it to promote the fact that he was going to multi-stream everywhere and cancel his partnership contract. That is the short of it, right?
Yeah.
But you know what the worst part about this is? And this is such a small, minuscule thing. It's not even a real problem whatsoever. It's just, it's frustrated me personally as an individual. And now I'm getting comments on all my old videos about multi-streaming, my video about the exclusivity, my polls about multi-streaming saying, Twitch are only doing these changes because they want to copy Ninja. It's like the changes have nothing to do with multi-streaming. Like he literally like it makes no sense. And also the concept that Ninja is in any way big enough to influence Twitch's decisions about exclusivity. Like this like isn't an entirely platform-based change because they want to take people from TikTok. Like the concept makes like so little sense. And it just frustrates me to no end to be like, Twitch announced this 2.5 weeks ago. And his change in no way even touches the sides of the exclusivity changes. Hence why I had to cancel his contract. Like they're not connected. And like, it's like I've gotten like 20 to 30 comments and they're all like, Twitch is failing, and they're just trying to copy and jump on the hype of Ninja moving. And I'm like, oh my God. And like,
I will never understand the stupidity in the world.
Okay, so hear me out, right? Some of them just don't know about the changes. So I replied to all of them just being like really politely like, hey, no, this is not changing whatsoever, blah, blah, blah. And some of them replied back being like, okay, thanks for the info. I'm sorry that I assumed this. You're right. It's kind of silly.
That's cool.
I'm like,
That's nice.
Those people, you're fine, right? You're just learning. I'm never going to make fun of a beginner who's willing to learn.
Of course.
But like 50% of them have wrote back saying, lol, Twitch simp, no way, dude. They just want to be like Ninja. He's the biggest streamer. It's like, dude, he was big like 10, 20 years ago. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 fucking years ago. But we actually had a really good comment. This isn't the Q&A of the day, but I wanted to read this comment out. Someone being like, with Ninja's move, do you think there'll be more multi-streaming? Which I think is a really good question. Honestly, Moto, you asked that. You're sick. Good commenter. But maybe hot take, I don't think anyone should be taking Ninja streaming advice.
No.
Right? Like, I don't think anyone's ever looked at him to do that, especially because he just canceled a contract where he'd be making shitloads of money on his subs. Like, I'm pretty sure because he's lost his partner badge, he's not an affiliate anymore, right?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, he's canceled it, right? I'm pretty sure.
He's definitely canceled his partner one, and I'm pretty sure he would have had to cancel affiliates possibly.
By default would have.
I think
like
so.
the contract would have changed from affiliate to partner. So I assume if he cancelled his partner, he'd just be plain old simple account.
Okay.
So I'm looking at it. He doesn't have a sub button on Twitch.
Okay, so he's definitely not affiliate, right?
No, yeah, he's not. He's streaming Fortnite live on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter from now on. Okay. And he no longer is getting any of the monthly subs that he used to get over on Twitch. So he canceled so that he could stream on YouTube and Facebook at the same time as Twitch, rather than just keep those subs, all that discovery, and live streams at the same time on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I don't understand this concept. I get the idea of like being like, I'm going to multi-stream to figure out where my audience is, but you don't have to give up tens of thousands of dollars every single month to go do a test stream on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
You're dead on.
You can do the multi-streaming to Instagram and to TikTok, no worries. That's fine, right? While you're still on Twitch. And then if you're like, is Facebook or YouTube better? I'll do a double stream this one. I'll end now. I'll go try that one out and see what happens. Because that's what Point Crow did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Iona did that and went from having 200 average to 1,000 average on her YouTube channel.
Jeez.
Did you hear about this?
No.
No.
EO released a video all about the Disney Dreamtime stuff. And then the moment the Disney Dreamtime stuff dropped, the new game, she went live on her YouTube channel, averaged 1,000 viewers.
Jeez.
Right? And it's still been doing YouTube and is like getting up to like 500 CCV and stuff like that over on YouTube. And people are gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta go to YouTube. And it's like, no, you don't understand. EO has grown a big Switch audience really quickly by niching aggressively down into like Nintendo and Switch game recommendations and reviews and stuff like that. Yeah. And has made like a really good core build up, gotten like 22,000 subs in a really short space of time. And they're all so focused on one topic that jumping into a cozy game on YouTube, that audience is still active. Right? Like a lot of my 170 are like dead subs, right? They're people who started streaming, subbed, give up after 3-4 months. Whereas EOs are like, none of them are quitting cozy gaming. You know what I mean? So, and they're all such a short time that none of them have moved on from her content. So she's going live and getting these huge viewer numbers. And that's because she made discoverable niche content, grew really quickly and grew consistently, and then started streaming on the same platform. And that's the reason why YouTube is good. If anyone's listening to this thinking like, why is YouTube good? And like, that is the system that we've all talked about. That is how you know YouTube's good. But Ninja was just gone live on YouTube. Didn't have to cancel the thousands and tens of thousands of dollars he was making.
It is very peculiar. It is so. I understand. Like people would be like, of course he had to cancel, and he wants to obviously do it at the same time to save time. And he's already made millions upon millions of dollars, and he's set for life. I get that. I completely get that. But even still, it's like, what is the big difference in terms of like one day I'll stream on Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok, like LJ said, and one day I'll stream on YouTube and Facebook? Like, What's the big difference in terms of splitting it down the middle and just going on this days? I'm going to alternate the days rather than I have to stream to 5 different platforms every time that I stream and hope that I'll make some, money through PayPal or whatever it is, the donations. I don't know. What is his overall goal? Does he just want more people to watch him at all times? Does he want to find out the best place to stream? What's the overall goal for him?
Doesn't make sense.
I don't get it.
It's weird. Like the thing is too is, like he would have been planning this for a long time because he would have had to wait for his partnership contract to expire. Like he would have chose not to renew and then wait for it to run its course. So, for everyone that doesn't know, it's like you have to renew your contract, and then if you don't renew, you have to wait till it expires.
Yep.
So yeah, he would have been planning this for quite a long time, which is interesting. So maybe the tinfoil hat people are like, oh, Twitch, you're doing this because Ninjas didn't renew his contract.
It's just so strange to me, man. It is honestly just so strange. Hey, can we talk about 2 things real quick because I know we need to do only 90 minutes today, but can we talk about 2 things real quick?
Sure.
The first I want to talk about is Purple Cliff. If we're talking about partner contract ending, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Purple Cliff is a very, very large YouTuber. He used to be a Twitch streamer, and he does Pokemon content. Really good Pokemon content.
You're saying like you sent us a video of this. Is this the guy?
Yes. Yeah. I think I did, yeah. Amazing content creator, really, really good. Used to stream on Twitch. Tried for like ages with an agent, with himself, with other creators. Tried for ages to cancel his Twitch contract. Over and over again, contacted trying to ask because he wanted to stream on YouTube. He didn't want to be on Twitch for a lot of reasons. One of the main ones was he felt they weren't doing enough with the hate raids and whatnot, which is honestly fair. If you have the space and ability to move away from it, I honestly think that the best thing you can do if you don't want to support something a company is doing, don't do it. You know what I mean? And I think that's totally, actually, he put his money where his mouth is, right? I think Devin did a similar thing. Devin Nash said, I don't like gambling being on Twitch. I'm going to get away from the platform. I'm not going to support it. I don't have the same luxury. I have a family to feed, and I don't own an agency or have millions of subs, so I can't put my money where my mouth is yet. But trust me, if the LJ YouTube was picking up and something happened, I probably would, to be honest. But here's the thing, right? Purple Cliff tries for ages to get away from it. They keep saying, yep, we'll cancel it. Yep, we'll cancel it. Yep, we'll cancel it. Yep, we'll cancel it. We're going to do it. They keep on just like pulling it away. And then he just says, screw it. I'm just going to start streaming on YouTube, right? And he's still got a partner badge there. They never canceled it. And he's tried over and over and over again every single a few months to try and get that canceled because there are a lot of people subbed to him on Twitch who don't realize they're still subbed. He's making like 3,000 to 4,000 USD a month still or something like that, I think. And it's because there are so many people who are unsubbed. Or maybe it was like total, you'll have to watch the video. It's up there. Just look up Purple Cliff's channel. And he's very upset in it. It's very rare that you ever see this guy like angry or upset. But he's like looking at it like, these are my audience members paying me for no content.
Yeah.
Right? And he's tried for ages and blah, blah, blah. And he finally blew up about it and made a whole video being like, I've tried to cancel this. And the reason I'm now talking about it is because with the new exclusivity change, they emailed him and said, hey, Purple, don't worry about it. You don't need to cancel your partner now. You can just leave it as is because of the new changes. And he's like, I do not want people subbing to that channel. Please cancel it. So they had the open ticket, right? This entire time where he was trying to say, can we please cancel this? He had the open ticket trying to cancel his contract for ages. And they know it was an open ticket because when the changes happened, they replied to the same ticket saying, hey, don't worry. You don't need to cancel anymore. Don't stress. And that is really frustrated me hearing that.
What the hell? What are they thinking? What are they doing? I don't understand it.
Dude, it's such like, that is, I legitimately like, people will be like, oh, LJ, Stream Room guys, you're always so quick to compliment Twitch. I am. I think Twitch does their best. But in this particular situation, whoever the support team is around Purple Cliff and not allowing him to cancel and keeping those subs active and keeping that support ticket open, and when you watch the video, you'll see it all. That is a massive failure.
Yeah.
That is a massive failure for creators, for viewers, and it worries me so much.
That's greedy more than anything. You can understand why they would keep, like, I may be going about this completely the wrong way, but obviously they would have kept it open because they knew that if they're getting X amount of income from this person who barely ever streams on their channel, and they're like, well, we can keep it open a bit longer for another month, get some more income so we can hit our targets and quotas and stuff. Like, it's kind of despicable. It is despicable.
I mean, but if he didn't, like, if he chose not to renew his contract, it should have run out, right? Like, it should have just.
legally.
But unless you actually cancel it, they don't take the badge and stuff away, as far as I'm aware.
Oh,
so like
okay.
your contract can run out, and it'll just stay like that until you sort it out, until you do something about it. And he was trying to do something about it. Like he was trying to get out of it, right? And one of the big things was he tried to specifically cancel the entire contract during the Twitch leak, because the Twitch leak technically is a breach of policy and a breach of trust. And therefore, a partner technically is allowed to, during the Twitch leak, a lot of lawyers he spoke to said you should be allowed to cancel your partner contract because they've actually broken the terms of service that they met with you, saying they were going to offer you a certain level of security. You know what I mean? And Twitch came back and said, while we don't agree with that sentiment, we will allow you to cancel the contract and we'll start the process now if you wish. And then it was just months of being strung along. And you can see it. You should watch the video. Everyone who's listening to this, you should watch the video because, again, I'm very quick to compliment Twitch about the things. I'm very quick to call out hypocrisy against them. But at the same time, I do think that's an important thing to talk about is Purple Cliff and the frustration he obviously had towards this situation.
Yeah. And again, there's different departments and there's different people that you have to deal with when it comes to any company. And some are doing really good and some are doing, as we saw right there, very poorly if this is all, corroborated and everything like that. So yeah, that is disgusting. That's not good.
It's so rough. And then I want to talk about something that we got brought up really quickly. This is the second thing I want to talk about. It's the same to do with sub splits and stuff. Is last week we talked about the video I was releasing about exclusivity. And I know we talk about a lot of exclusivity a lot, but it's just because it's a big thing right now, right? And it's interesting to us as people who are creating YouTube content. But one of the things we talked about was my approach to talking about exclusivity in the video. And I said that I didn't want to theorize. And someone brought this up in my Twitch chat and said, what were you meaning by theorize? So essentially, there's a lot of theories going around right now that because Twitch is removing exclusivity for partners, it means that all of the leaks from Bloomberg are going to come true, right? People are saying that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And that is a theory that people have, and that's fine. You can have that theory. But people are saying, you got to leave Twitch because they're taking away the partner 70-30 split, right? They're taking it away. Lots of big YouTubers are talking about it, saying Twitch is about to take the 70-30 away. Dude, we're like 90 minutes in, so I feel comfortable saying this. My brother in Christ, if anyone out there thinks that a new partner, any fucking partner, even Purple Cliff, as big as he was, none of us are getting the 70-30 split. Everyone I know gets the 50-50 fucking split. Even the big creators like Point Crow have come out and gone, yeah, I get a 50-50 split. I don't get 70-30. The people who are like, guys, get ready. They're about to take your 70-30 split away. Like, dude, how out of touch do you have to be, Twitter? No one has a 70-30. No one gives a fuck about that.
It's crazy. It's like, okay, maybe like 5-6 years ago, like really, really big creators may have been on like an altered split, right?
Yeah.
That's 5 to 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like the top 1% who get that offer. Mm-hmm. Like Purple Cliff talked about how he had like 3,000, 4,000 subs or something like that for months, and they wouldn't give him the 70-30 split. They don't do that anymore, man. Like, it's just, as far as I've been told, or as far as I'm talked to or seen, they do not do it anymore. And I think it's wild to hear people acting like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm canceling affiliate. I'm going to go stream on YouTube now because I heard they won't give me my 70-30 split as a partner.
Which they didn't have in the first place. And I think that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's just kind of this, again, bandwagoning for the sake of bandwagoning. Anything that's wrong, they'll be like, oh my God, my 70-30 split. To the people who do have 70-30 splits, I'm sure they'll be like, oh, that sucks, definitely.
Yeah.
If it does come true. By the way, hasn't come true yet.
Yeah.
This is completely theorized and rumor mill. But to those people who are a stock standard partner, which is a majority of us, a 70-30 split is something that you wish for and you hope for and you think everything in between. But let's be honest, it's basically 50-50 for a lot of people out there, a majority of people out there.
It just is one of those things, right? Where like, I understand, like, if you wanted to like pick something out of the Bloomberg rumors and be like, okay, the Bloomberg article leaked and said that exclusivity was going to leave for partners. They did that, which means the rest is going to come true. I understand if you want to drum up hype or something like that, picking something else and being like, that means this is also going to come true.
Yeah.
But why would you pick the 70-30 split turning 50-50 when the large majority of people don't have that? When instead you could be like, they said they'd make you run more ads and have more ad incentives. Like, if you're going to clickbait, that is a way better fear-mongering clickbait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like inherently, right? To be like, everyone hates ads. Everyone hates ads. They're going to take it away. And it's like, yeah, everyone does. That's actually a good thing to be scared of, is like people running more ads makes the platform for live content worse, right? But the 70-30 thing is so like, I just have no concept as to how that is anything.
I've just got a meme idea, and I'm gonna Photoshop it and post it on our stream room Twitter. It's just gonna be like the 70-30 split that people care about, which is like the sub revenue one. The 70-30 split you should care about, diversifying from the content to streaming.
I like it.
That's
I like
very
it
nice.
a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to talk about those two quick things because people brought them up, and I kind of love when people bring up questions. Like, dude, okay, people think that I get salty at comments that like call me out or ask questions. I actually love when they're like actually being like, LJ, you said X. What do you mean by that? Mm-hmm. So I can be like, Hamo, this is why I'm making all these TikToks. It's because of burnout, and this is a more fresh way of doing it. Guys, this is what the theories were and why they're dumb. Guys, did you see this purple cliff thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like it because it gives us a chance to be like, you guys asked these questions and wanted more info about what we talked about. You're right. We skimmed over it because we're on top of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love it, dude. If you guys have stuff like that, hit us with it. I know you guys listen on Spotify as well, so just ask anywhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm sure we're going to get questions about it as well. But yes, of course, Twitch has announced that they're removing hosts as
Yes.
well.
Oh, yeah.
They have indeed. Yeah.
Another thing nobody used and no one cares about. And again, it's one of those things where people like even Nick and I had this conversation when they were moving it. It was like, people use hosts as to get recommended channels connected. And it's like, that was never really proved.
It was like one of this assumption, like we assumed it worked like that.
Yeah,
Like-
it was like one of those small streamer things that we all kind of got told as small streamers that we were supposed to do. And it's like, well, it can't hurt us to like say yes to do it. So fuck it. Yes, yeah, I'll take every host. But like, we don't actually know. And if anything, we do know for a fact that raids help, but we don't know if it's because raids connect channels or just the fact that there are multiple viewers who have been in both chats is enough for Twitch to go, Bootyman69 watches Reaps, he watches LJ, and he watches Nick. Therefore, we'll cross-promote those three channels to people and recommended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't know that hosts and all those things work. And also, I've never used host. I've used raids, but I never use host. It doesn't make sense to use like, go out of my way to be like /host, add a host. And like,
Here's the thing: before like the actual like feature of rating existed, people that was the equivalent was.
Yes.
You know, people would they'd create like a little raid message in their chat, and they'd tell people like, here's the link, go over to their stream. And they'd get everybody to go over to the stream, and then they'd get them to paste the message, and then they would like, /host the person, right?
Yeah.
And /host with whatever. And that like, and because that whole rating culture was like growing a lot, like people were like, it had a name, rating, and like the whole Twitch raid emote and things like that. So it made sense for Twitch to make that an official feature. So now that they have that feature, there's no reason for hosts to exist if they're not really doing anything. There's no reason for it. If you're live and you want it, you're going to be ending stream. Why would you choose to host over raid?
you
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah. Well, okay, there is one time that you should, but here's another issue. I don't think a lot of people realize this. Embeds. Front page and website embeds. If you raid someone and you have a front page or a website embed, you say for example, I've got front page support right now. So let's say I might have 150 viewers, but the reality is I might only have 100, right?
Yes.
Now, if I raid at the end of stream, it'll say raiding with 100, not with 150, despite my little average viewer thing at the bottom saying 150. Then if someone has host and raid alerts turned on, when it goes in, it'll pop up for them that I raided with 100, but I hosted with 150.
Yeah.
Right? And that is very confusing. And it also makes people look like they're viewbotting. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of hate when people ask me, are you viewbotting 50 people? And it's like, no, I just got the front page, right? I've just got the front page. But I do know a lot of large streamers do have embeds on big websites, right? And we all know about embeds. I'm not going into it, but like they get embeds on big websites. It's actually wrought in the Animal Crossing community. A lot of Treasure Island's Animal Crossing streamers who are like getting thousands of views, if you go in there, a lot of the time the chat is really, really quiet.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, it's because they like cozy lurking and stuff. Nah, dude, there's heaps of Animal Crossing like shops and communities and stuff on the internet, and they get their streams embedded on them for promoting them. And they get thousands of views of all these people who go like, watch out, go to these websites to like be a part of the Animal Crossing communities or to buy furniture or to trade and stuff. And when these people want to like raid, they raid with like 26 viewers and host with 2,000. And then the host does nothing because it goes away instantly and then they give 26 viewers over.
Right.
And so it's really weird. It's really weird. But like, it just doesn't make sense to have both features. And also because if you're hosting someone, it's very unlikely that someone's going to come to your stream and go through the host to them. It is actually harder because they came for you. They don't care about the other person.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it is. It's more like the thing of like when your channel's offline and people go to your channel to see if you're live or whatever, because they don't, I don't know, it doesn't come with a notification or something like, I hope they're live. You can host other people's channels. It's like an auto host list that you can do.
Yeah.
And you're like, I like these people are cool. So when I'm offline, check them out. I think that's a really cool like incentive back in the day because that's all we had. But now I think people are kind of stuck with the fact that they know who they like. They've got their follower list to the left of them and they're not going to go to a page that's offline to see who they think that you should watch.
Also,
Yeah.
another thing, if you have a large YouTube channel or a TikTok and you're bringing people to your Twitch channel, most of the time you're going to be offline, right? And now what you don't want to be doing is you don't necessarily want all those people who are coming to your channel to check you out getting shown a person you're hosting who isn't the same content or isn't that kind of thing, because you actually want them to get your latest VOD to start playing.
Yeah.
You want them to get the trailer or the VOD. They want to give them your content, give them a taste of it, so maybe they follow, and if you go live, they get the notification to come back.
Yeah.
Right? But if you send people to a host, it's actually more detrimental to someone like myself who has a YouTube channel. Because if I'm getting 1,000 clicks a day from Stream Scheme, those 1,000 clicks might convert to 50 follows or whatever, random numbers. But like if I had a host up, they might not see my latest VOD and go, okay, I do like this, I will follow.
Yeah.
Instead, they might just be like, oh, that's auto music playing like MySpace, I'm out.
Yeah, that's right.
But like if they watch the VOD, it gives me VOD views, they might be into it, they might follow. So there's a lot of reasons to host, but it's more so that raids are better nowadays, and there's a lot of reasons not to host anymore.
Yeah. Raids are pretty much the go-to, and I completely understand why they want to get rid of the feature. I know a lot of people will be upset with it, but not really know the reason. But hopefully, we all understand that it's just like, yeah, it's good that we're hosting another person on our channel. But surely, if they like them, they'll just go to their channel anyway. So what's the real?
I actually have a question. So currently, when you raid someone, so after the raid reaches the end of its time, or you click the button, right? The channel flicks over to the person that you're raiding. And then on your channel, you then go offline. And then it says that, you like LJ is hosting blah, 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 because you just raided them.
On your dashboard, it says it there.
Yeah. Is it still like if someone goes to your channel right after you've ended and raided someone, will it still say LJ or Nictacular is hosting so-and-so because you just raided them?
Meaning after the change or now? Because now it still does.
Now it still does. I'm curious, will it still do that after the change?
I got a sneaking suspicion it won't, to be honest. I haven't looked into that part, but we're gonna have to wait and for the release to find out properly. I don't want to be one of those people who spreads misinformation about it.
Yeah.
It might, but I've got a sneaking suspicion it just won't.
Because that just crossed my mind. Because if once this change goes through, I mean, logically, if they're removing hosts, when you raid someone and bring everybody over, let's say 5 minutes later, someone clicks your channel, it should just show you as offline. It won't say that so-and-so is still hosting this streamer because they raided them 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm curious if or if that might still stay because it was a raid.
Yeah.
That's what I was,
I have always, weird I know, but I have always, the moment I've ended a raid, I always click the unhost button right after, and after I've ended stream, I click the unhost button.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. It's just always been what I've done because I just assumed it was probably just like the thing to do. Also, I think it's funny because I think a lot of people think that when that host thing is up, you're no longer streaming to Twitch, but you are. It's just the host is in front of your screen. So a lot of people will raid and then kind of sit there and just like watch the other person stream for a little bit and they won't end or unhost and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you go to look at, one of my favorite things to do is to go look at the end of people's VODs because they go, all right, everyone, you're off. It's time for you to raid. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good time. Bye, 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 bye. Raid.
Yep, I do that. That's why I've got the signal feed. I immediately go to the signal feed.
Audio listeners, what you didn't see there was I was really excited and happy, and then I just went to a complete dead, quiet, silent, angry face.
Because you think you're off camera, yeah.
You're off camera now. You can stop acting like a woo, I'm a child's presenter.
Yeah.
You know?
This is why I have an end screen.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, just cut to that signal feed for me. But yeah, that's a really good point.
So many times, Reaps, I've been in your stream and you've rated on your chat screen, like you haven't gone to your signal feed loss. So
I know, and I was just like, I'm
so
trying to find it.
Now people are gonna hunt through those VODs and find them.
Through the VODs and see me just like hate my life afterwards. It's a great picker upper for the day. But what we should do probably now, boys, is we'll find out about those changes when it does institute. When is it hopefully going through? When was the last day for hosting? Like a week?
I'm not gonna guess. I looked it up a while ago, but I feel like one of my new rules is if I don't know, I'm just not gonna say.
October 3rd.
October 3rd. Okay, so that's when so basically around daylight savings time, or well, close to the weekend, whatever it is. But do we have a question of the week?
We do have a question of the week. It was actually from Lonely Shark. It's a much bigger paragraph, so I'm going to paraphrase a bit. Sure. But Lonely Shark wanted to change their name from Lonely Shark Melbourne down to Lonely Shark or Sharky or something more in brand. Do you think, and boys, the question is essentially, do you think it's worth it to cut something like MELB off the end of Lonely Shark so it's in line with all of these other social media, all these other branding and everything like that? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Quite honestly, yeah. The easier it is to type in and the more that you kind of bring it down to like very specifics of like, I'm the Lonely Shark of the Melbourne division, I'm the Lonely Shark of the Queensland division or whatever it is. It's kind of like showing not as an all-encompassing brand, but more like an offshoot of that. And I think that anything that has less characters in the name is also a lot easier to type and remember than when it is a long ass name that you're trying to get to the page of. Because if the spelling's wrong, like if you do like the meme thing of, my name's Steve and I'm going to add 7 E's on the end of it, and then you're trying to find it as a viewer, it's going to take it off. In terms of, I'm just not going to be asked to do it. But yeah, for me, Lonely Shark Melbourne, obviously I would hope that you can get it down to Lonely Shark because I think that's obviously a better brand.
I think it's not available though. So I think they were trying to figure out like they won't be able to make it Lonely Shark is a big part of it as well. Like I think they agree and I agree as well that like it's better, but they were like, shit, I can't. Yeah. I can't get Lonely Shark. Same as like I can't get LJM. So I have to be LJM _.
Have you, because I thought the same thing in terms of I didn't have, like Reaps was out there, right? And I was like, there's no way that I'm going to get it. But I talked to my Twitch partner, support, whatever it was. And I was like, yo, what's the chances of getting Reaps? Because I've been on their channel. They haven't used it in X amount of time. And the person on the other end was like, yeah, they haven't used it in a long time. And usually it's now defunct. So you can have the name. I got so lucky.
Okay.
And so they gave it to me. So I would honestly just talk to your Twitch partner support and go, listen, I'm hoping to get this name without the Melb at the end. Is there any chance that that's happening anytime soon? And they can usually get back to you with like a pretty stock standard thing. But in terms of, let's just say that no, Lonely Shark has been taken. I'm guessing what you're asking is, do you want to change to a different name that's maybe Lonely Shark without the E, so it's Lonely Shark or something like that? That's more tough because obviously it's still like a divide from your brand on all the other like social medias. And I guess it's more what you think is best, because once you do a change on your name, people think it's a simple thing. It's like, I changed my name, everything's fine. You got to redo everything. And people like, oh, I sometimes you get followers like missing because they didn't like, export over to the new name and stuff like that. It was a whole process when I had to change my name. But yeah, I would stick with Lonely Shark Melbourne so you can actually get what you truly want. Myself, that's my advice.
Yep, change your name to Looney Shark. No.
Hey.
I was in a like sort of similar situation where when I first started streaming, so the full Twitch name was Nictacular with the R on the end and then 42, because Nictacular just on its own was taken. And it wasn't just taken by someone, by a dead channel. It was actually taken by someone who streamed every now and then. So I was like, there's no way in hell that, I'll be able to get that name. And then that handle was also taken on like Twitter by a completely different person and things like that. So I was like, look, I'll add, 42 on the end because it's like, funny, the meaning to life, whatever, like that joke. And I kept that on the end of my name for about 2.5 to 3 years. And then eventually I was really sort of upping my production quality on my stream, and I kind of had this, and I took a week off just to like have a break, basically, as we all do every now and then, like take a week off to have a break. And during that week, I was like, you know what? Like I felt refreshed. kind of had time to sit back and relax. And I was like, I want to have the name that I've wanted to have. I don't want to have numbers on the end of it. I don't want to have an underscore. I don't want to have this and that. I just want to have a name. Yeah, calling you out. No.
I'll tell my story in a second. So you go.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to have any of that. So then I really thought about it and I was like, look, what if I just get rid of the R? I was like, could I make that work? And I looked on every platform and Nictacular, the way my name is now, was not taken anywhere. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I literally, my little, like for those that have seen my Marvel like spoof raid video, I used that as like the announcement that I changed my name because I was making that video anyway. And I felt so much better. Like I finally got to have like a shorter name that I still got to keep that naming scheme. Like I loved the Nictacular idea. Like it was still a really cool idea. It's like, you know, spectacular and Nictacular. So I got to keep that even though the spelling was
Wait, it's not Dracula?
off.
I thought it was a Dracula thing. I always assumed it was a Dracula thing.
That's what everyone says. Literally everyone. But you know, it's great for Halloween though, because then I can just, you know, go into the vampire thing. Oh. But yeah, so like, yeah, there was a lot of jokes about the Dracula stuff and like vampires and that kind of thing. But I made it work. I was like, I got, even though it wasn't exactly what I wanted, I just dropped the letter and I got to have it. And then I got to have it everywhere on every platform. And then it's kind of how it's been going forward. So like it has been a little bit tough. Like sometimes you'll say it verbally and you know, it's, you know, people put the R. I think, you know, I've had people who tried to raid me in the past a couple of times and they put the R on the end. You know, it's like, but it's one of those things is like you make that one mistake, but then you kind of remember. Like it's pretty ingrained, I think, for the most part now that people know, you know, how my name is spelled without the R.
It's a good meme as well.
Good meme, exactly.
It's a good meme to have someone raid the wrong person. I've had it happen to me a couple of times. People forget the underscore.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of how it went. I think, you know, and I could have been really unlucky. Like it could have been where Nictacular wasn't available on some platforms. And I would have had to really make that hard decision of, do I just continue to keep this number on the end of my name, or do I really think about something like that? Do I deviate away and get something purely unique? And it was a tough decision. So I got lucky in regard for myself. But yeah, it's definitely tough, Sharky. It's definitely a tough call. So you might have to, I guess maybe brainstorm a little bit more and think about what you can do.
I have to make an admission.
Okay.
LJM is taken, yes. By me.
What? Do you forget your login? What's going on?
No, I have my login, but I made LJM underscore because LJM was taken. And then 6-7 months later, I went to make a side account that I could go watch people's streams and chat and stuff like that without them being like, this is LJ. This is during stream and stuff. And it was blowing up. So I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to review small streamers and figure out what they were doing and stuff. And I tried to just make an account with an email address that I have for another side email address. Didn't work. Already registered. I looked up what was registered to. It was registered to LJM no underscore. And all of my links and everything like that are linked to LJM underscore. And I don't want to transition the thousands upon thousands of views that I get from other sources and have to figure out how I'm going to get those links to redirect to the new one without the underscore. So at this point, I'm like, look, the change isn't big enough for me to warrant it. I'm not going to bother. But at the same time, I do kind of wish I had looked into it earlier. So if you can do it, Sharky, maybe look into it early.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like all of your like YouTube video descriptions that have the underscore there.
Every single video I say LJM underscore, everything. I've got a video that has 1.3 million views and it says LJM underscore.
Gotcha.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it brings in about 4,000 views a day, that video. Gotcha. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And imagine and like right now everyone knows to go to LJM underscore, right? But if I changed it, they would all struggle, right? I can change the link, but a lot of people don't even click the link. They go to Twitch and they type LJM underscore. So my approach is, look, people like Sips, people like Ravs, a lot of people have the underscore on the end. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect me necessarily. People still call me LJ. They still call me LJM. It's not a big deal. But at the same time, yeah, would I have preferred it? Sure. But I got LJM without an underscore on my YouTube channel. Doesn't really blow anything over. The links all work. People know it works. The YouTube channel still works. I'm not fussed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
Like the underscore is like the last ditch effort where it's like you want to have the name that you chose and you really like, and so the underscore is the least sort of like, I can't think of the word, but like it's definitely the better option to go for rather than like extending your name or adding numbers or an exclamation point or triple X.
I find the moment you start adding numbers, it gets really tricky.
Yeah.
Like, because half the time I don't remember, like, unless it's like one. Like Small Ant 1 was what he called himself, and he reverted to Small Ant. But like, I don't think for me, like I would never have LJM 987.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people I know who are trying to be streamers, and this isn't calling anyone out, but if you're small enough, it's worth changing it from calling yourself LJM 9958654. Change it down to like, if you can, just whatever it is by itself with an underscore or by itself. I think when you're early on, making the change is better. Don't be like me, who tried to make the change or looked into making the change after I already had too much traffic to one thing to change it. You know what I mean? Oh, why did Small Ant do it? How could he do it? Well, because he doesn't say in all these videos, check me out at twitch.tv/SmallAnt1. He just says, use the link in the description.
Yeah.
So like, it's much easier for him to redirect all those things. I've shot myself well and truly in the foot.
I guess it's more the fact of like, if you do want to do it, like now is always better than later on. But it's up to you. As you said, like it's not a big thing that there's an underscore at the end of your name. I guess it's more just preferential. So Lonely Shark, I guess our advice to you is, obviously, yeah, we think that Lonely Shark is like, it would be better in terms of a brand rather than Lonely Shark Melb at the end. But we also understand why you don't have that, because it's obviously been taken. So I guess it's like what Nictacular did in terms of like, oh, maybe I can do Lonely Shark, but spell it a bit differently, that can get, that brand. Or whether it's the fact of like, I'll just wait. I'll go in with my Twitch support and see if the name's going to come up anytime soon, and then I'll take it from there. But I definitely would suggest don't change it for the sake of changing it, only for then to change it again because you finally got the rights to Lonely Shark for itself on Twitch, because it's always a big deal.
I believe he said, I need to, I think, reread the comment, but he has just Lonely Shark on every other platform.
Every other social,
it's
yeah.
just
So, yeah, I
Twitch
mentioned
that has
so, yeah.
the Melb, yeah.
So, yeah.
And he says he's been unable to remove the Melb from his handle, but he wants to get rid of it or figure it out, but he just can't.
Yeah. Well, I think, you pretty much got it there, and we're preaching to the choir. But boys, we are at the end of another amazing episode. I'm saying amazing because I really enjoyed today's podcast today.
Got a little spicy. Got a little hot in a couple sections.
A little hot, a little spicy. But again, please comment down below. Please keep saying questions. I get people coming into my chat. I don't know if it's the same with you boys, saying, you never really answer my question. And that's okay, for the simple fact that we will be doing a Q&A episode like we have in the past, answering all the ones that we don't answer. So it'll be a fresh slate afterwards. So please keep asking them, and we will answer them at one point or another. Again, we're also organizing guests for the future, so don't worry about that. That's happening. But any last words, boys, before we drop more frames?
Two things. One, I hope everything we said today came across in the right approach, in the sense that we want people to have a more balanced take on Twitch features and industry changes, and also a more balanced take on allowing people to just have a distraction. You don't need to come tell people about horrifying things that are happening in the world all the time.
Yep.
And two, if we don't answer your question, you should really be excited about that, to be honest. Because you should be excited because the reason we're not answering every single person's question anymore is because we're actually getting so many more people coming in and asking questions, so many more views. The audience is growing, the community is growing. It's kind of awesome because we can't actually go through every single person's question anymore. And that's sick. So if you like listening to this and you watch this and you're excited about this, but you feel a bit down that we don't answer your questions, as we've said, we will do a full Q&A. But honestly, try be excited about it, because it is really exciting for us that the channels and the Spotify and everything like that is just consistently picking up.
Kicking.
You know what I mean?
Kicking goals.
Every single release this last couple ones has always been like a better and better release. More people are checking it out. More people are commenting. Memes are forming, which means the community is actually coming together, which I love. And just be excited because things are going well for us and it seems like it's really fun. So take it as a positive if we're not answering your questions. Or It might also be because we've already answered it, and therefore you have to go back to the start and watch every single episode in full again.
And listen, watch and listen. So audio because be sure at some of the audio I put like the questions on the audio one, but didn't put it on the video one. So I just really spiced it up. So be sure to double check what I'm saying is true, and let me know in the comments if it is.
We really do appreciate it, and everybody who's been like coming to like our Twitch channels as well, who have found us from the podcast, we really do appreciate it too. Like I've been, recently I've had a few people raid, and I was like, oh, how'd you find the channel tonight? I was like, oh, well, actually found you through the podcast, but we wanted to come check you out. I was like, that's freaking awesome. So thank you everybody who's also coming to check out. Oh God, I knocked over my mouse. Thank you everybody who's also coming to check out like our other sort of content as well. So we really do appreciate it. And remember, 1 like and subscribe equal 1 make Nick better.
Yes, please do so.
Yes.
We are dropping frames. So hold up. Sorry, disregard.
Hang on.
If you're listening to this, I want you to comment. Do you think motion controls are good in gaming, or do you not like them? I want to know yes or no, motion controls, good or bad. Okay, now you can drop frames.
Spare my love tilt controls.
Okay, there we go. So if you like motion controls, let us know in the comments. We do love hearing back from you. But again, thank you so much for listening or watching another episode of The Stream Room. We'll be back next week for more fun and frivolity and everything in between. But from now, we're dropping frames. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye.